trials and tribulations.
Bear with us.
No worries, no worries.
Dude, that's the thing. It's an ever evolving show, this one. And it's so much fun to be on.
Mate, you got to start somewhere, right?
I do.
And, you know, and I think it's great, actually. And I really do, man. I really appreciate it, like I said, to Rowan, just the hustle, man.
I appreciate that.
You know?
What about your hustle, Bobby?
Mate, it's fucking still hustling. Still. Yeah. Day in, day out, mate. It's fucking guerrilla warfare out there.
I understand. When you were younger, did you have that hustle?
Are we rolling, boys?
Oh, are we on? Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, okay, nice.
We just started up.
But yeah, I think I've always been a little bit of a, you know, hustler.
Bobby, you have, that's the thing. Your flow, I'm just letting you cook today. Like, this is your show.
Yeah,
I want you to run with it.
Mate, I'm just rolling, man.
Do whatever you want to do.
Happy to be here as well. And thanks for having me, Ethan.
I appreciate it.
Really
it.
Been nice to see you guys.
Well, you arrived and you weren't empty-handed. You brought over this masala chai that we're going to have on the show right now. I had a little taste of it while I was upstairs heating it up. But we got Carl some too. But tell me about this and tell me about your journey with food, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Mate, where to start? Okay, so just we're 5 kids and from a very proud traditional Pakistani mum who just spent all her time in the kitchen, you know. So a lot of the time that we got to spend with mum was always in the kitchen. So we just naturally took to cooking and just the whole vibe that brings. Hey, the family, the unity, the righteousness of a loving household. And I think that's some of my sort of early memories of cooking, to be honest. And of course, just eating some of the most incredible cuisine. Hey, like we've named a restaurant after this lady, you know, because she's such an inspiration. It's called Zahida, by the way, and it's in Copenhagen City. But yeah, just I guess like I said, just growing up watching mom kind of navigate through spice markets and just always just hustling at butchers and always getting the best prices and so on. It was just a really cool thing to grow up in. And then, of course, going to Pakistan. So we're really proud of our kitchen here. So going to Pakistan, and everybody's a foodie out there. So just eating sort of local delicacies and cuisines and just the magic that kind of stuff brings as well. So I guess that's where my love for food came from. And still evolving, you know.
Of course.
And who doesn't like to eat?
Agreed. We all it's part of the human experience, food, right? You can't avoid it. Everyone has to eat. But food has a special way of bringing people together like nothing else, right? And it's also like, in my opinion, a form of gift giving. It can be like a love language at times, food. Like to cook someone a really nice meal is to show them, you know, it's kind of like the material of love a little bit, you know what I mean?
Mate.
Like the manifestation of it, you know, the same way that a mother loves a child to cook for them and to provide for them, especially to put their heart and soul into it, like it sounds like your mother did.
Totally.
It's a special experience.
100%. I think there is just something about a mom's love in cooking, though, you know, that just I think is impossible to ever replicate. When I cook, and I enjoy cooking, Ethan, and you know, try and stay as modest as possible, but I've definitely cooked a few curries in my life, you know. So it will just never taste the same as mom's, you know. Doesn't matter how hard I try. But it's always something to strive for. I don't know if you guys know, but Pakistani moms are like absolute savages as well, though. They're absolutely brutal, and like, especially my mom, she's like, nobody else is going to tell you this. So I'm going to tell you this. God bless her. And knows how to drop some harsh truths. So, of course, when mom's eating my cooking, it's always a very tense moment. Because, of course, the only person's approval you really want is mom's approval, right?
Couldn't agree more.
Right.
My mum's such a good cook too, and she expresses her love through cooking as well.
Nice.
She's Serbian, and my grandma's Serbian. They actually had a restaurant called Bonaparte in West Bennett Hills.
Great name as well.
Yeah, I know. And it was a French-Serbian hybrid restaurant,
Great.
And they ran it in like the 70s and 80s. And my grandma's cooking is insane. My bubba's cooking off the chain.
No doubt.
Right? But then my mum's cooking is also absolutely amazing. That whole Serbian side, it's incredible.
Have you learned to cook and like cooking and stuff yourself?
100%.
Yeah,
I'm an amateur in comparison to my mom, and then
we all are.
Yeah, exactly, it's right.
Second nature to them, eh?
But it's just the passion to do it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And the thing is, like all things, right? As as you practice it, you get better at it. And as you pick up new things and interact with new people, our conversation today is probably going to teach me a lot about cooking because you've been in the kitchen a lot longer than I have,
Yeah,
right?
but
And
like,
but little things like that you pick up on, right? And it builds you into a better cook. And that exact same principle could be, put on so many things, right?
I was just thinking if you would have me back in sometime in the future. Maybe I'll actually do some cooking and we'll kick off the podcast like that.
Dude, that would be insane. Because in the future, we probably would have the capability to like start the podcast and just have like Carl film us upstairs, making a little meal, taste it out. Then we hop down here, plug it in, go. Right. And that could be the first 30 minutes. And then we're down here for another 2 hours.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
Dude, it's
Cool.
an infinite landscape, this podcast. We can do whatever we want with it.
I'm super open as well because I really like you guys as well, Ethan. And I know we just discussed before jumping on just how much I appreciate your hustle as well. Just getting out here and doing you and just being you, right? And yeah, I really respect it, man. And I was just quite taken back by your level of persistence and just dedication to it. I suppose the persistence is sounds like you were trying to holler at me.
I was when we met. It was such an awesome interaction.
Sure.
I knew if I could capture that on the show, it would be awesome, right? So that's a credit to you, Bobby.
No, but also you as well, man. Like, yeah. You guys are also a vibe as well. I really just enjoyed bouncing off you guys too, and you were giving out like a really cool energy, not an energy that you often get. And I'm always looking for that energy, man. I really am. Like, I'm just a vibey guy, and I like to have a good time.
I hear you.
So yeah, but that's lately I've been on this sort of carnivore caveman diet.
Okay.
Yeah, just meat and salad.
What type of salad?
He's just really basic, either just big bunches of baby spinach,
okay,
or just some lettuce, just like leafy salads.
I understand.
And just the emphasis being on the meat, and it's really fun because I feel like the Pakistani kitchen is incredible for the grill. The tandoori chicken, the masala lamb chops, like just the list goes on. We just literally, I'm telling you, we know what we're doing.
You're making me hungry right now just talking about it.
I'm getting excited.
I am getting excited.
But it's just the naan breads and the chutneys and it's a serious kitchen. Hey, it really is though.
It is. It's so complex as well.
I need to get in that kitchen and cook. And feel like I need to just put my money where my mouth is and show you guys how much.
Next time, run it up. We
we should. It would be fun. But where was I? Oh yeah, like just the street food in Pakistan is also another level as well. Just something about the hustle, the bustle, and just. I remember we went to this place in Karachi, my brother and I. So since opening the restaurant, we'd like take frequent trips to Pakistan just to cook with some locals and see what's trending and that kind of stuff. And we went into, it was like New Year's, just came out of like seeing some friends, went to this restaurant and it said Pakistan's biggest menu, 500 dishes on this menu.
Wow.
Right? So we look at each other, my brother and I were like, there is no fucking way every single dish on that menu is going to be a banger. So we're like, let's eat here. And we basically ordered like one of each dish. So we ordered like a chicken dish, a lamb dish, a beef dish, a spinach dish, like a chicken, right? We just really like, we basically ordered like almost one of everything, right? Just to see. And I'm not even joking with you guys. Every single one of them dishes was a fucking banger.
Oh my goodness.
Every single one. We were like, to the point where we were trying to find fault now and just trying to be like even more critical than we like should have been for a spot that's just on the side of the road. Like, it's actually a pretty famous street though. It's called Burns Road. And there's also Border Basin as well. It's another place where just the standard is just impeccable. You just got to be really careful with the street food just to not get sick because, of course, the hygiene is somewhat questionable. But it just, actually, in my experience, Ethan, I think the street vendor, right the way down to the luxury 5-star hotel, is just as good as the street vendor. But the only thing that you pay for is the level of hygiene. because just the food is incredible. Doesn't matter what level or what standard, mid range, high end, and high end. Like we were just really balling it out there as well in some places because you can fucking cheap as fuck
Yes.
and it's banking, you know. So why not, right? But yeah, that's just the main thing you pay for, Ethan, is the hygiene. And if you want to get sick,
Yeah.
and our Western stomachs are a little bit too sensitive for them kind of germs.
I understand.
No.
I understand. I think you also pay for the experience as well a little bit, like in a luxury spot.
Totally.
You know, you get put up in a nice place. It's a nice environment.
For
There's
sure.
good waiters, and the food. It's not that materially different from what you'd get on the street, but it's the
100%.
experience
No, for
of
sure.
going right.
For sure.
So yeah, and that's why like Australia's kind of lost that a little bit. I feel like I don't feel like people are going out in Australia and eating out and dining at restaurants, especially in this post-COVID environment, like they were before.
Sure.
And restaurants are such a great way to connect, not with just the family that you're kind of there with, but the community in general.
Totally.
But eating out's so expensive now. It's like $300 to go out with your family and get a decent meal.
Yeah.
It's become
Yeah,
it's
for
become
sure.
impossible for families to afford. Right? It's a
For sure.
tragedy because food brings people together. Right?
Totally.
Speaking of restaurants, let's transition into your restaurant in
Yeah.
Copenhagen and
Yeah.
how that got set up. You were
Yeah.
talking to me about this a little bit earlier. You were saying you set it up with your brother.
Yeah, big brother. Yeah, exactly. So like I said, we've been cooking with mom since we were like, very young, and just always kind of promised her that one day we'd open a restaurant and name it after her, just in tribute, and homage. And we finally did it, man. So Shane had been living in Copenhagen for many years, and it just seemed like the right place to do it. I was backpacking across to 2017. I remember I was I'd got as far as Medellin, Colombia. And he calls me and says, "Hey, I started in Mexico. I actually did a year in Mexico and a year in Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah, or just under a year in Colombia. But then Big Brother calls me and is like, Bob, we found a spot and we need you to get the next flight back." And I was like, not fucking ready, I just need to go down to the Amazon and like, get to Machu Picchu and just move around South America for a bit, right?
Yes.
While I'm there, at least. And he was like, "Look, we're going to go ahead with or without you." And we talked about this and let's just make it happen, right? So we're like, yeah, cool. So came back. We started in a food market with 5 bar stools. And to our luck, this food market ended up going bust in the first 9 or 10 months
Okay.
of opening. So there's a lot of food vendors that lost a lot of money, But we were one of the very few that kind of made it happen and got a bit of traction and a bit of a name. And after this food market going bust, we didn't have a restaurant now, right? Or a venue. And we just had just the old elbow grease and each other, right? But a bit of a concept too, and got a bit of traction, like I said. So we have a friend that has a nightclub, and he was like, "Let's. I have a kitchen in there that I don't use, so why don't you guys just rent the kitchen from me?" And of course, you've got all the market from the club as well, and just because it's a bar. For events and that kind of stuff. So we just opened a bit of a ghost kitchen, so to speak. Not necessarily a ghost kitchen. We were actually running a restaurant through it, to be fair. But it just never really was going to be our main kind of, it just wasn't it was a stopgap.
Yes.
Until we basically had enough money to buy a city center location. And the location's incredible. It's next to Nørreport Station, if anyone knows Copenhagen City, on a street called Rommersgade, which is across the road from a food market called Torvehellen. So yeah, a really cool spot. Shane is just incredibly artistic, and really, we should get some shots of the restaurant up on the screen.
Yeah.
The guys.
See if we can get Carl to search it up. If we can just punch
Yeah,
the name
and on Instagram it's Zahida CPH, Zahida, and then CPH. I don't have any signal in here.
Oh yeah, Telstra here doesn't work.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Hold it.
No, you're not holding me prisoner, are you?
It's so beautiful though to achieve such a wholesome dream with your brother.
Yeah.
To name a restaurant after your mum, right? And to do it in such a spectacular way, to go on a journey, to, you know, start off in a food market, it gets closed down,
for
transition to the back of a friend's club, and now having your own spot.
Totally.
You know, what does the journey mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Ethan, it was for me, it was very much burning the candle at both ends. I was working incredibly hard and then partying even harder, and you just do in hospitality because
It's the game.
but also when you have a nice restaurant, everybody wants to be your friend.
Yeah.
Right, and especially guys in hospitality who are in the industry, you know, like, you know, they want to come for dinner before they start work, and
Yeah.
you want to go to the clubs, and, you know, just everyone's just there's a network, you know.
100%.
And so I was just, yeah, like I said, I was just being too much of a rock star, and then just, you know, kind of burn the candle at both ends, and just need to take a bit of a break out. So I got in touch with a friend who was in Australia, who uh, is in the charity sector,
Yes.
and asked me if I wanted to come and do some charity fundraising out in Sydney. To which I agreed to, just because I thought, why not? I'll just go out, take a little bit of a break from the restaurant, and just kind of see what happens. And then when I got here, a sponsorship started happening, and so I was just like, pretty cool opportunity, and not one that lands in your lap every day to be sponsored to come to Australia and live, you know.
Of course. We've got the restaurant.
Oh yeah,
here.
that's us, man.
All right. Pull it up on the full screen so the audience can see it a bit better, Carl, as well.
Let's see what's going on. Oh, sick. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys.
Pull that across if you can. Yeah, fantastic.
So, Kyle, if you just scroll down, and just keep going down. I just want to get to so we're essentially Pakistani sort of fine dining.
It does look very fine. It looks
Yeah.
incredible.
We're just trying to like,
Keep going, Carl. Let's see if we can
yeah,
get a
but
shot of
just you
the-
should go like,
Yeah, give it some pace. Give
yeah,
it some
quite
pace.
quickly, exactly. You get the idea, right?
Yeah,
And then if
hit
you
it.
exactly. But yeah, so the Shane designed all this, man. It's all his life. So I mean, he's got such an artistic
Come on, dude.
kind of flair. All good, man.
It's all good, dude. That food looks absolutely. No, I understand. That food looks incredible.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I can't take any. Our chefs are just incredible, man. They're really like just like Michelin star level chefs. They've worked in Michelin star restaurants. Tony and Sherwin,
Wow,
our two guys, and Panda. Our
that's such a great name. For a chef.
no, Panda's the restaurant manager.
Oh, okay.
But who's
okay.
also like a serious cocktail bartender as well.
Okay.
Yeah, serious. Yeah, he's like, he knows his shit, man. Yeah, I mean, our whole concept, Ethan, is we just want you to feel like you've come for dinner at our house. It's just mama's boys cooking wholesome, good Pakistani food, and just everybody having a great time. You know, like we just want you to feel nothing but welcomed and warmed, and come and I just feel like our food is that good that we just need to share it with the world. we would do it a disservice to not like show you how we eat at home.
Using the gifts that you've been given and, you know, putting those out into the world is so important.
Yeah, man.
And, you know, because you could just be a great cook in you know, and that's sorry, that's such a beautiful vision, right? To do that, you know. No, go get it. It's
No,
fine.
it's not even important, mate. But I hear you, man. But also, like, I think, yeah, we just like to eat, you know, Ethan. we just really enjoy eating.
Bobby, talk to me about the early days in the restaurant, right? Back when it was the food market, back when it was just a really small dream and you hadn't, you know, achieved this goal that you're running at now. What
Yeah.
were the challenges you faced? What was day-to-day life like? All of that.
You know, yeah, it was. It's definitely rough running a restaurant, Ethan. I think we just opened it thinking that people were just gonna come, and how wrong could we be? Just because, yeah, it's just that's not the case. You know, there's so much competition and it is brutal. I mean, luckily, my brother knows his shit, you know, and just kind of like just, yeah, worked his ass off, man. You guys should come, man.
Dude, I think I'm going to Europe this time next year, and I'll probably be in Copenhagen at some stage. I
Yeah,
would love to go.
nice,
It would
man.
honestly be the highlight of my trip. Going to your restaurant in Copenhagen overseas, it would be a pleasure of mine. It really would. The gratitude would all be on my side.
I'll make sure there's some champagne waiting for you on the table, man.
You're actually the best, Bob.
No,
You are.
but-
And you're so generous with this type of stuff. Like,
You
you know,
know-
for context, like this is only like the second time we've had a real conversation.
Yeah, sure.
And we
It's
connect
true.
really well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and
I
we
totally-
and there's a
totally.
good vibe,
Mm.
right? But you have been so generous to bring over tea,
Thanks,
to come on the
man.
show, to offer your time, like it really, and to extend your arm in this way, especially to something that's so close to your heart, a vision that's kind of, you know, been one of the stories of your life, right?
I think, look, you know, I think I'm just really grateful, Ethan, for just growing up in a household where how was it, man?
Delicious. It is so good. I actually love masala chai.
Nice.
I wouldn't say I'm a vet, but
Yeah.
I'm experienced.
Yeah,
that's for
cool.
sure. It really is.
Appreciate you, man.
Delicious.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Mate, wait till you see me cook, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Pakistani food is just absolutely
It's
amazing.
the best day.
Right. I feel some of my friends are not big foodies, right? They stick to one sort of cuisine, or they stick to a limited amount of foods, right? Like, and I can't hack it. It's like you need to grow up, you need to experience everything that life has, you know, to offer, and part of that is food, and you know, part of that's travel too. You sound like you're pretty experienced when it comes to the travel realm. I didn't know, but you just said that you were spending time in Mexico for a year and going down to Colombia and doing South America. Talk to me about travel.
Yeah, it's oh man. Yes, I was I'll start from the beginning. I'll just
We got all day.
yeah. I'll
It's
I'll just
it's
give
the
you-
morning. We
Well,
can
I
go
just-
for hours.
I just all right. So essentially, I'm from Manchester,
Mhm.
and born and raised, and incredible place to have been brought up. It just taught me a lot, you know. But I just think, like, if you're relatively smart and not from the capital, in my opinion, I feel like you should move to the capital.
Okay.
You know, like it's just a lot more opportunity, and there's just stuff going on.
Yes.
And so I just made a break for London, and I think it was just
When was that?
yeah, good question.
Or how old were you?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. I think 20, 25.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So all, like pretty much the age I am now, almost.
yeah, but I'd also been like traveling the UK like nationally as well, because I was fundraising across the United Kingdom. So
Okay.
anywhere right from Scotland to down to Brighton, and
Ah.
anywhere in between. So I'm pretty clued up on UK geography. You know, I've definitely been to a lot of places in the country. But yeah, I think truthfully, I think that's kind of what really inspired the move to London as well. You know, just the getting out there and seeing what's going on. Anyway, fast forward to London. I spent a year in London, and I believe it changed my life. Really, just what an incredible city. Takes a little bit of time to get into, but in my opinion, I feel everybody should live in London at some stage in their life.
Wow.
Yeah, just the networking, just it's cool, and there's just something for everybody in that city. And also just internationally known, it's incredible. You've definitely got to keep your wits about you, especially these days, because you can get stabbed for looking at someone the wrong way, unfortunately, and that is just the harsh reality of London these days. But nevertheless, it's like I feel it changed my life, you know. So then I did a year in London, and I think I left a bit too soon. But then I got offered a job in New York, same gig, with a charity called Oxfam. If you've heard of them, they're like aid in development, which is a cause that's quite close to my heart, especially I think coming from sort of like Pakistani origins. It very much there's a lot of poverty on our doorstep, and seeing that from an early age, it definitely, you know, cements something in your head, you know. And so, shit, where was I?
Talking about fundraising in New York.
Oh yeah, New York. Yeah, thanks.
No worries.
So, but New York was great actually, Ethan. I fucking loved it, man. It's just like, I felt like in London, I was still just another Pakistani British guy, but in New York, I'm a
You felt like the only Pakistani British guy.
I was like I was a fucking delicacy out
Yeah.
there. Man, you know,
They'd never seen you
no,
before.
and they fucking loved it, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the Americans just like the Brits anyway, though. Like we're just quite a trusted brand out there.
Agreed.
And they're just pretty friendly too, man. You know, I think it would definitely fucked with a few people's heads that I was brown and talking,
Talking
with
British.
an English accent. Exactly, definitely mess with their heads. Like, but yeah, on the whole, the Americans are cool, man. What I liked about New York though is there's no time for bullshit in that city. So if a New Yorker doesn't like you, you fucking know about it. And I can fuck with that, you know, because then you know where you stand. If you don't want to be friends, let's not be friends, and let's not make anything of this, you know. And if you do, let's be friends.
Which is the opposite to British culture, I feel like, in a way. Like I've seen,
like
like I've,
nice, man.
no, but I've
You
seen
know?
like in British culture, it's kind of one of those ones where like you'll have neighbors and you don't even know who they are, like you've never met them before, right? And whereas in the States, it's kind of like they try and know everyone. It's all very like interconnected, right? Is that true, or is that just online stuff?
I think I don't know. I think we're a good bunch, you know, Ethan. We're not a bad bunch, the Brits. I honestly feel really sorry for them. The economy's terrible, and people are pissed off and angry and miserable, and
As they should be, really.
Yeah.
It's a real tragedy what's happened to the UK, you know, in the last 10 years, I guess I'd say. And Keir Starmer's not making it any better. He's making it worse, right?
Yeah.
And the rest of the world is literally watching it fall apart, and it sucks. And like, what's the sentiment? Because I'm sure you've got friends back in the UK at home. What's the sentiment from them? Is this kind of like media hype in the West
No,
where like
oh
the
my
UK is
God.
collapsing, or is it
Good question.
on the ground? Is it actually worse than it was 10 years ago?
It's definitely it's not great. Let's just put it like that. It's yeah, people are just, you know, like I said, just miserable and poor, and you know, we're talking about going out and eating and that kind of stuff, and no one's doing that shit in England, you know, at the moment anyway, or not any of my friends. Um, I mean, look, how are we in a situation where pensioners are like dying because they can't afford to turn the heating on, you know? Like, how are we in that situation? Like, as Great Britain, you know, just such a mighty empire. And granted, it was built on some pretty shitty things. but nevertheless, like, you know, we were a thriving empire.
Britain has a claim to being the greatest nation ever.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
only a
For
few
sure.
nations do,
Totally.
right? But there was a period of time where the British Empire was the greatest nation in the
100%,
world, and it
100%.
might have been the greatest nation ever.
Absolutely.
Right? And to see such an amazing legacy be tarnished the way that it's currently being right now, right? It's an absolute travesty. It really is, you know? And like all the great heroes of British history, right? I feel like this just tramples on their name, what's happening. And like, it's silly because you see it's literally just corrupt politicians, right? Doing things that obviously are gonna like negatively impact the country, and the population of the UK can see that, right? And it just and there's nothing. It doesn't seem like there's anything anyone can do about it, right? There's no way to like, you know, the population's just like,
But you're totally
please don't
right.
let our society burn down. And
You're
the
actually-
politicians are like, they get on the news and they're like, listen, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing, and everyone's like, come on, how are we gonna get out of this? What are we gonna do?
Do you know, Ethan, I think it says a lot about our democratic society that we, you know, I have to pick one devil over another devil, right? Do you know, like, and how are we in this situation? Like, yeah. I mean, look,
There are gems of hope though in the UK. I think like he's a very controversial figure, but I think Nigel Farage had a lot of good policies, and his loss to Keir Starmer, I feel like cemented the UK's demise for the next X amount of years. And I think like really, like, only a few people in the UK had woken up when Keir Starmer was elected. But now, considering how just consistently worse it's gotten and how much media attention the fall of the UK and
Sure.
London especially has gotten, I feel like at the next election, the Reform Party will have a legitimate chance, and candidates like Nigel Farage, who believe in stopping mass migration, who believe in cleaning up and investing in the cities of London rather than funneling money overseas to Ukraine, etc. The list goes on. We could talk policy if we really want to, but I think the main important fact I'm trying to get across is the Reform Party will have a chance, but not for another, 2.5 years until the next UK election? That might be completely incorrect. Look that up, Carl, maybe.
I think, the problem is, Ethan, is it doesn't matter who's going to come in now. There's just too much damage already been done. So by the time you get into to office, you don't have any real amount of time to make lasting change. You can definitely do some stuff, but I think we're just too far down the rabbit hole, if I'm honest. And it does upset me, Ethan, when I think about just because my family is still there as well, right? I've got friends, I've got people that are like living in that country, right? That are just not having a great time. So that doesn't in turn fill me with a lot of hope and joy. And also another thing with the UK is we just have such shitty weather. So that doesn't help either.
Just makes the whole situation more depressing. Right?
It's just fucking grey and it's grim and it's miserable and it's cold and it's wet and it's windy and, just it takes a toll on your mental health, Ethan. It really does.
The thing. In Australia, the government's not great either, but at least it's sunny outside.
Totally.
So you can get it out of your mind for a little while. But over there, you're just like, fuck. Yeah, what am I going to do?
For sure. And also, I don't know. I think in the north as well, it's just where I'm from. It's just that little bit more grim. At least in London, it's not as bad. But where we are, it's wet and it's windy as well. So it's. But actually, one thing that's also really nice is just what we're always taught is you can do something about your attitude. You can't do anything about the weather.
Completely agree.
Right, so
that's so powerful.
Yeah, for sure. So I think even here when it rains and stuff, all right, it's nowhere near compared. This is nice, right? Right. It's but Aussies seem to think they're gonna melt in it, right? And I just find that so funny because it's just fucking water. So
it's no big deal.
Chill out,
right? Yeah, rain has its own beauty to it as well. Right. The only problem with rain is it just limits the amount of activities that you can do outside.
For sure.
But it also gives you a chance to rest, recover,
Totally.
do the things that you need to do as well. It's like part of the natural cycle almost, right? And being in tune with that is being in tune with the weather. So.
Sorry, Ethan, I just wanted to ask about you mentioned earlier about going to do some traveling.
Yeah.
Why Europe?
In terms of where I want to go next year?
No, yeah, exactly.
Yes. So I've been to Europe before, but I've only been to Italy and the UK, and that was in 2016.
Yeah.
Right. So I want to go back to Europe. A lot of my friends are going to be in Europe at that time. It feels like the right time of my life to go. A lot of my friends have been going and saying it's awesome. And, it feels like the right thing to do. I can probably get the amount of leave off work, and Europe's always been that landmark destination for so many Australians.
It's
right?
true though.
And but a big part of it too is I want to go back to Serbia, meet a lot of the family that I've never met before over there.
Fair.
And it would just be an absolute blessing to get over there and just be in Belgrade where my grandparents grew up. Because that's a part of me and my culture, and I should do my due diligence and go over there and understand the culture, interact with the family that I
couldn't agree more, man.
And that's what I'm really looking forward to. And then also looking forward to a lot of partying and things that a bit about, I'm sure.
No doubt.
Yeah. Is the scene in Copenhagen awesome?
It's incredible.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll put you in touch with some guys as well, Ethan.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll take care of some stuff.
That would be the most insane trip of all time.
No,
We've got to run it up.
We got you. You just let us know when you're there.
No, we'll make it happen.
We'll take care of some stuff for you.
We'll make it happen.
Also, the UK as well. Are you planning on going to London on this leg?
I imagine we will be. We'll probably be flying.
Just spent 10 minutes cussing it.
Dude, I don't want to spend days in London these days. It's as you said, it's legitimately dangerous, right? And
sure.
I've been to London,
especially for a pretty boy like you. Especially, they're gonna think Christmas came early.
I know. They're gonna try and shake me down, dude. And if they haven't, that's the thing. This is what's so strange about the UK and the policies going on right now, because you've got crazy amount of knife crime, right? Yet the politicians refuse to make more strict laws to search people for knife crimes, and they say that searching people is racist and all. They put all these tags on it to make it seem like, you know, it's a legitimate argument. But knife crimes out of control. Why isn't there stricter policing on carrying knives and things like that? But they refuse to reduce the laws. It's crazy, right? It feels like they're just shooting themselves in their own foot.
You know, Ethan, it's all of it. You know, it's not just the knife crime. That's like a massive part of it. But then you've also got like the people are losing their shit. You know, like I think what's really sad is just the more vulnerable members of society. You know, because I think when every shit like this goes down, some recessions or whatever, yeah, we take a hit. But you know, them guys like on the streets or like with COVID, for example, and this whole nobody was going out, man. So you know, all these homeless guys are doubly fucked. Excuse my language.
No, I understand.
But there's no other way of putting that, right? Like,
well, even you know, people that just own a small business are
for
fucked,
sure,
right?
For sure.
Like we saw, you know, UK had similar lockdowns to Australia, right? Like something crazy, like 65% of businesses at the time had to close permanently post COVID, right? Because you can't take someone's income away for 2 years and think it's going to be okay,
Totally.
right? It's, you can't operate in that environment,
Totally.
right? And you like, it was very, even, you know, because this was the thing. A lot of people lost their jobs in COVID, but they were able to transition, right? I even had a mate's dad who was a pilot, and during COVID, when flights weren't happening, he was working at Woolies stacking the shelves, and now he's a pilot again, and he was a really senior pilot too, right? But to provide for his family,
Totally.
he had to go back to basics, right? But he was able to come back. Whereas if you're a small business owner, if you're a restaurant owner and you have to close and have no income for 2 years, right? Sure. And it's literally against the law for you to open. There's nothing you can do.
Totally.
You're fucked.
Totally.
You're cooked.
Totally.
Right? And then
Totally.
it just, and that's exactly what we saw during COVID, a huge transition of wealth from the bottom, like, you know, from the bottom 1%, even down to the homeless, but all the way to like, you know, that, like, you know, 50% of people who are just trying to get by, living paycheck to paycheck, they got cooked too. And it's just a huge transfer of wealth to the top 1%, really.
For sure.
You know, and it's
crazy.
mate.
For sure. Just to bring it up a little bit though, and on
Sorry,
a bit more. No, it's okay. It's okay. Like, this is a perfect time to tell you. So this week I've had a busy week, boys. And one of the highlights from this week was I just got approved to be an aged care volunteer for the Red Cross.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is my I don't even want to call him a client because, you know, I really want to. So this is Leon.
Okay.
Leon's 84. We're in PPE because there was a COVID breakout and I needed to get dressed up. Do you want to show Kyle?
Yes, Carl, have a look at that.
But that's Leon. He's 84. He's had a.
Do you mind if we pull it up?
No, man. No. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Carl, just airdrop it to yourself.
But yeah, so that's Leon. Leon used to be in a rock band. Yeah. Growing up sort of Des Moines kind of area. Just lived a life as a rock star, basically.
Wow.
Like a drummer in a rock band. Yeah. Really cool. Had a stroke. Lost the use of practically the left side of his body, so arm and leg mainly.
Mm-hmm.
Poor bastard. And he's just been shunned in that home, you know. And I kind of actually like I was very nearly gonna give up being this volunteer, Ethan, because the amount of like hoops that you have to jump through to get to that stage. And I get it, you know, we just want to make sure that you're a sound and credible person and not gonna cause any harm or, you know, detriment to a vulnerable person.
Yes.
Because he's definitely vulnerable, you know. Leon, what a legend, man. I mean, look, I kind of took him by surprise, and I think I definitely tried to tone down my my energy and stuff. And he started opening up towards the end. He's just really fucking lonely, man. And you know, his family lives so far away, and so then just through hanging out with him, I found out it was his birthday the next day. So I went to see him on Wednesday, the 30th.
Okay.
And yeah, I was like, how old are you? And he's like, 78. I was like, what year were you born? He's like, 1942. I was like, you're not 78 then. You're like more in the 80s. My maths isn't great, but even I know, right? And then I was like, what date? And he was like, 31st of July. I was like, mate, that's tomorrow. And he was like, is it? And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, mate, you're going to be 83 tomorrow. And he, poor bastard, didn't even fucking know. Right? So I was like, shit. And then he's like looking around and there's no clocks on the wall. He's like, I don't even know what time it is. Right? I was like, fuck, man. So then I was like, mate, I'm gonna come out on the weekend and I'm gonna bring you a cake and we're gonna celebrate your birthday, man. Because 83 is, I bet you thought weren't even gonna make it at some point, even past 40, right?
Well, he still thought it was 70. He still thought you had another like 5-6 years to go, right? Yeah.
You know, so
News to him.
yeah, totally, totally. So poor bastard. So I'm gonna go hang out with him, like I said, Ethan. But I just waited I worked so hard to get to this moment because when you apply, you need this check and that check, and you need this person's signature, and like it's a really long onboarding process, enough to deter you from wanting to be a volunteer, man.
Yes.
You know, but I'd kind of let the ball slip, and then wait for responses, and finally one comes, and you sit on it for a little bit longer, and then you respond, and then they take some time, and it's been really, really long, man. And also, you need a police check for every country you've lived in for 12 months.
Oh, wow.
Right. So you can imagine me backpacking in Mexico. Where the fuck am I going to get
A police check?
Pretty sure they don't even know I was there, man. Like, and this is about 8 years ago as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. But we got there, and I'm really looking forward to just giving that guy some hope and just some love, and just let him know that actually there are some people out there that do care for you, so don't just wither away and die. You know,
that's inspiring, Bobby. It really is. And your heart for other people, you talked about it in terms of your charity work, but then this on top of it too, and even just how nice and kind you've been to Carl and I today. It really shows, like, your personality. You know, that's it. Like, it's your vibe, right? Your energy, it exudes you. You know what I mean?
You know, Ethan, I've been really getting into religion lately. You know,
Same.
And yeah, I've been really getting into religion lately, and I always just had an interest in it anyway. And like, I kind of grew up in a pretty strict, a traditional Islamic household, right?
Yes.
Pakistan's like, I mean, the official figures are 95% Muslim, but I'm pretty sure it's more like 99%.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen the 5%. And nobody's seen that 5% of other, but anyway, so I think when you're kind of forced to do something, there's zero enjoyment, and you just don't understand why I have to pray and I have to do this and I have to do this. And, it's just very like militant, and it's just like, at least how it was drilled into us. And I guess it was very hard for my parents too, because these guys have come from Pakistan in the 60s, right? So it's just a whole new culture that you're navigating with 5 kids in a very unfamiliar environment, like, imagine, Nathan, if you had to go at this age to another country and just get married and start a life, right? That's basically what they did, man. It was very different these days. Hey, just arranged marriage, and, you meet each other a couple of times, and all right, I get a good vibe from you and you get a good vibe from me. Let's make it happen. And it just wasn't choice. And, you were just committed, It's like my parents had the most amazing relationship, actually. And so blessed and grateful to have grown up in a household with, and that just kind of is testament, even just what you were talking about with terms of my characteristics, very much a testament to my parents as to why I'm like that. And my siblings as well. We're all just super loving, man. And it's because, we just saw our parents do it too. And also, I will say there is something to be said about Pakistani hospitality in general, and just the, we see it as like such a blessing when a person comes to our house, and in Islam, it says that like the angels come with the guests, your guests bring the angels to your house,
Wow.
Yeah. So it just shows you the kind of emphasis that we have on how important it is for you to come to our house, And I'm sure you've seen stuff on social media with food bloggers going to Pakistan, and they're just like, mate, it's on us. And he's like, no, you're too poor to even buy me this meal, man. And he's like, don't be silly, you're my guest. Like, I'm never gonna let you pay for this,
Wow.
Right? And just there is really, like I said, something to be said about Pakistani hospitality, man. Like, and growing up in a household like that, where it's all about just giving. And I guess also even that message kind of comes from everything's for God. Right? Like, even like I can like this energy that I'm giving you, I didn't pay for it, right? Like, just the fact that I can be here and communicate and converse with you just on a really basic level, I mean, is like just what a blessing that is in itself.
Agreed. Praise God for existence.
Right. Do you know?
Yes.
Right. You know,
No,
just the fact that
agreed.
we even hear like you're favored, right? Like, I was reading. Oh man, this is a great one as well. I was, do you know Mohammed Hoblos? You know this guy, brother.
No.
Brother.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
I guess
that
so.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mohammed Hoblos. He's he gives dawah, so he's a Islamic talker,
Okay.
and I was listening to one of his talks recently, and he's a bit hardcore for me. That guy. I don't know if you've heard any of his talks.
Nah,
but
I haven't seen.
he's passionate, man.
Yes.
He's just really passionate, you know. So he'll slam the tables, and you know he gets in there, you know.
Gets the people going.
Yeah. Like, but incredible. Like, you know, just there's definitely something to learn from his style of
Communicating.
public speaking. Yeah,
Yes.
totally. But he had a great one that really resonated with me recently, Ethan, and it said, if you woke up today with what you were thankful for yesterday, what would you have?
Mm.
And I thought that was such a cool one, eh? If you woke up today with what you were thankful for yesterday, what would you have? Would you have your eyes? Would you have your ears? Would you have a heart that just, you know, is beating on its own without any control? Like, you know, and I thought that was so cool. It really just helped me extend my deeper levels of gratitude when I kind of heard that, you know.
Completely agree.
Right. And
Yep.
just the basic shit, you know, of like what we have. Never mind, you know, what we have, right? Right. And
What's taught me so much, because gratitude is a practice, and you genuinely have to practice to build it up within
sure.
yourself to get better and to evolve in your mindset and as a person, right?
Totally.
And gratitude is a necessary part of being human, part of the human experience. And I think it's one of those ones where, I lost my train of thought a little bit.
no, you're doing great, man. Oh yeah, just a repeated kind of.
Oh, that's what
yeah.
I was going to say. Sorry. The one thing that's increased, not increased, but one thing that's helped my own gratitude practice within myself has been prayer groups, because I'm a Christian man.
Cool.
I'm part of a prayer group that meets through my work, and we meet every Tuesday, and it's
Amazing.
an awesome experience. Not just to pray and to express myself, but to understand what other people are going through and to reflect on that and understand how lucky I am.
Yeah, cool.
Because some people will share like, oh, my parents are sick, or I'm going through financial hardship,
Totally.
or my hearing's starting to go, or my vision's starting to go, or I'm very ill and doesn't look like I'm getting better. And that just makes me reflect on myself and go, how perfect is my life? How small are my problems? And how powerful is it to pray for these people in the name of God? It's just, it's really beautiful. And it's taught me so much, not just about faith, not just about my religion and my own spiritual journey, but concepts of my mindset like gratitude. It's an expander.
Yeah, man.
It really is. And
For sure.
And it's exactly that same energy that you were talking about in, like, when going to volunteer at the nursing home, being able to give love to other people.
Totally, man.
It to breathe life into others is to bestow it upon yourself. And that's a powerful mantra,
Absolutely, man. I also think, Ethan, so I've been hanging out with a lot of different kind of religious faiths. Because I just meet so many people on the street, right, Ethan? Like, this is why my job is so cool, because I'm literally just
because you're cool. That's why it's so cool.
Do you know?
Dude, but that's the thing. That's literally how this started up. We were at the pub and I just saw you walking around talking, and I was like, dude, let's talk. If you got something to say, I got ears to listen, So, and I'll chat your ear off too. I'm not afraid of the chat
No, I can see, man. I can see. And some good chat too, Ethan, man. Yeah, some good chat.
I hope so. It might be shit chat sometimes. I apologize.
It's cool, man. Like, I'll let you know when it is, man.
Okay, good, good.
I'll keep you in check, son.
Good.
But what I was gonna say is, I think what's quite funny about my job is people feel sorry for me, right? And it is a tough job. I'm not gonna lie, Ethan. Charity fundraising on the streets of fucking Sydney CBD is it's not a walk in the park. Let's say that.
Yeah, but you're experienced. You've done New York. You've done London. How does Sydney compare to those biggest cities?
Great question, man. Great question. Because I think about this all the time, man. Right, one thing I really appreciate about fundraising London and New York is they appreciate your hustle, because everyone out there is on a hustle. So, the amount of times, like, I'd be in like there's a place called like Finsbury Pavement in London, and it's business. It's like Brangaroo, but fucking 10.0. Like it's finance and bankers and just movers and shakers, right?
Yes.
And it's fucking nonstop. I've taken new starters to that place on their first day, and they've quit before lunch. I'm not even joking. Yeah, I'm not even fucking with you. People have left before lunch. I was like, hey man, give it to lunch at least. And they're like, no, we want to go home, right? Because they will shred you in that place.
Yes.
No, they really will, man. So if you're not like mentally on point in that in that neck of the woods, and like I said, they're businessmen. I was just telling you this because yeah, they're pretty hardcore. Oh yeah. But if you get one of them stop Stevens, one of them will stop and be like, mate, you've got 2 minutes, and if I'm convinced, I'll give you what you're asking for.
Wow.
Right? Just because they appreciate the hustle.
Yes.
Right? It's like, mate, my time's very valuable. You've got 2 minutes. Shoot. You'd never find that in Sydney. Nobody would ever said, right? Ever. These guys are just, they're just not like wired that way, right? Also, I think here in Sydney, everyone thinks they're poorer than they actually are. This is another thing, because our campaign at the moment is like Amnesty International, and we're doing some remarkable stuff internationally, right? It's a humanitarian organization, and I could talk to you all day about what Amnesty does, but the stuff that I really like is the empowerment of women's rights, stopping child soldiers, and just having a fair world for everybody. But these I'm just very passionate about multiple things they do. I could be here all day, but in comparison to where this charity is helping, everyone lives a pretty damn good life here. And I'm not saying there isn't problems on our own doorstep, because there certainly are. There's a massive drug and ice epidemic in this country. There is a ridiculous amount of homelessness, domestic violence, which is leading to drug and alcohol misuse and all this kind of stuff. There are some issues.
Huge problems in the aged care sector.
Absolutely, man. 100. Man, it's another thing.
We could talk about that all day too.
Yeah,
and you're one of the heroes of the aged care sector. Someone who volunteers their time to give love to others. But we need structural reform to our aged care system. It's a broken system.
Oh man,
people are literally sitting
Ethan,
lonely.
give him some love, man. Yes, my guy.
No,
fucking my
what
guy.
I'm saying isn't even like it's not even groundbreaking stuff. If you walk into the nursing home, you see it straight away. If you've ever been to one of those facilities, you're just like, holy shit, this is insane. We need change.
For sure.
We need exponential change.
So true.
We need decades worth of change to get to a state where this is fair for everyone, right? And there's not many systems like that. Like our medical system, it's not perfect. There's a lot of broken pieces to it, right? And the privatization of hospitals and things like that doesn't help. But at least there's a system there that works. You go into the aged care sector and you're like, this is decades off where it needs to be. Yeah. This requires mass structural reform, political policies, fiscal policy, money being pumped into it that we don't have to get this going. And we've got an aging population, so this becomes more of a problem. But wages for people working in nursing homes are incredibly low. It's a problem that just makes no sense, considering I don't understand how it doesn't justify more limelight, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
I think yeah, I just honestly couldn't agree more with everything you just said, by the way. But just moving off that, Ethan, people just don't make any money, right? Right? What's right?
No, I listen to this though. I got a mate Leon. His grandma which is pretty coincidental, right? But I've got a mate Leon, and his grandma still works as a hairdresser, and she just turned 80 years old the other day. I've a hustler.
I've met these guys, Ethan, as well on the street, and I'm fucking just I think.
People like that keep the world spinning.
I think for sure. But look, even I've got quite a lot to say about this, by the way. We lost Dad just before COVID, and I ended up moving back to England to be his full-time carer. And I ended up spending 9 months sleeping on the floor of this hospital, cleaning him, wiping him, changing him, feeding him, because the system had just absolutely failed. And we're talking the NHS here. We're talking Great Britain, you know. Yeah, like, and just so much of what you were just saying there, I was just thinking about even in that hospital, and I'm sure it's probably not too dissimilar here. I think we've still got our shit together a little bit more than the UK, but it's also less people here,
Mhm.
and them services are really stretched, and it isn't even like, you know, you can imagine, guys, I'd like got a bit of a fly on the wall experience in 9 straight months of living in a hospital, right?
I imagine.
You know, I've seen some shit, man. Do you know, right? Literally.
Yeah, no, I hear you, dude.
Right. You know,
I hear you.
and you know, I think just very quickly about this aged care thing. I think when I was in the hospital, often like we started in a ward, and there was about 9 other patients, and there was 2 guys opposite us, and they were both like extremely old, vulnerable, kind of, you know, similar to Leon. Family would come once a week, feed them, and then leave. And my dad would be like, nobody's gone to see, he was called Mr. Long, Chinese guy.
Yeah.
It's like, no one's gone to see Mr. Long, because their name is written on the.
Yeah,
right. You're like, nobody's gone to see Mr. Long for a few days. So would you go and sit with him and hang out with him for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, Dad, look, man, our time is really limited. You know, the doctors have, you know, yeah, it's not looking good. And I'd much rather spend my time with you, right? And he was like, I'm not going anywhere, man. I'm here. Go sit with him. And I'd often go and like hang out with him. And I think that's where I kind of really had a feel for it, you know, just how much it fucking does for that person, man. Like, because, you know, Ethan, I think something we forget is we are human, man. And there are just certain like touch and element emotions and all this kind of stuff that we just need, you know. And, you know, Leon, although his situation's okay, there's probably 5,000 more of these across New South Wales. Like, you know, spouses have died and they're on their own. And, you know, the once a week food bank will go and drop some food off to them. And that's the only contact they'll have, you know, like.
It's a serious
You know,
pandemic that's going on right now, an epidemic of lonely, like elderly men. I feel like, and women too.
And women,
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
They're at more risk of becoming homeless, by the way. You know, like
Wow.
middle-aged women. Yeah, there's a statistic on it. I think it's like between 50 and or 45 and 55, something like this. There's like a specific age group of women that if you're on that, you're so much more likely to be homeless in this current climate and this kind of stuff, especially if you're on your own, because it's fucking tough, man. You know, I've lived with my brother and sister-in-law and niece and nephew, who are incredible, by the way. Just so blessed to have like family like these guys. Honestly, I genuinely feel like God has favored me, you know, Ethan, with just my parents and my siblings. You know, they're like somewhere someone's prayer got answered for me to have these guys, and so I like obviously my expenses aren't as much living with these guys, but before them I was in Redfern, and for a 2 up 2 down, I was paying 500 a week in a 2 up 2 down little terrace house. My front door would open onto the street.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Redfern?
Yeah.
You know the big housing project.
Yeah, near the station.
No.
Oh, okay.
But there's a couple, but no. The one it's a bit closer to the Surrey Hill side.
Okay. Yes.
And that was like literally at the top of my street.
Mm-hmm.
So like definitely saw a few unsavory characters flying around, to say the least.
I can understand.
You know, but harmless though. Actually, this is kind of what I liked about Redfern. You know, Ethan. It kind of reminded me of Manchester a little bit, because you've got like, you know, it's starting to get a bit gentrified now, and you're starting to get hipsters like me bopping about the streets, right? But from what I gather, it wasn't like that 20 years ago.
No, I understand.
Right. And so you still got these like, you know, rough and readies knocking around. And then you've got like, you know, a more of a gentrified crowd as well.
Yes. Of course.
And Manchester's very much like that. You've got like, you know, definitely got a few scumbags in Manchester, to say the least. To say the least. And they know it as well, man. They're like scumbags, and they know they're scumbags, you know. These guys, they're like, proud to be scumbags. But yeah, so just cost of living, like I said, man, it's sorry, I was going somewhere with this, Ethan, about the aged care thing. Yeah, this is where I was going to conclude with this.
No, all good.
About that is, I remember one of my first girlfriends, Linda, loved this girl, by the way. amazing woman, man. Really, truly, truly. We'll talk about it another time. But you might see my mascara run, you know. No, I'm only joking. So Linda's best mate, would her mum ran a high-end nursing home
Okay.
in a place called Alderley Edge,
Mhm.
which is where like all the footballers and like just A-list celebrities in from the UK certainly live in this area. They're fucking it's serious.
Mm.
Like the Beverly Hills of Manchester. Yeah, no, it's definitely serious. Alderley Edge. You buy a house there, you fucking kicked it.
Yeah.
And so I was just hanging out. Julie, Linda's mate's house, and mom was going to work, and we're like, can we just go and sit with some of your patients? And she was like, they'd love that, you know. And I remember walking in, and not one person was of any ethnic origin in that. Everybody was white.
Mm.
Every single person in that nursing home was white. The only ethnically challenged people.
Ethnically challenged. I don't know if that's the term, Bobby, but I hear what you're trying to say.
I can say it. I can say
I know.
it. You know, so, but these guys were, they were just the staff. They were just like, the help.
Mm.
And our culture, Ethan, it doesn't promote leaving your elders ever. So, in answer to the like whole point is like we have to learn from that kind of model.
Agreed.
And
right?
not this bullshit Western one, and Ethan, what I will say about that as well is, in England, I feel like people still had core family values and community and all that kind of stuff, from back in the days, even from like, 'cause I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 87. So I grew up in like end of the 80s, early 90s. And there was very much that, before the internet, it was very much like I grew up next to an Auntie Mary and an Uncle Patrick who were like Roman Catholic, proper hardcore Irish, amazing, man, right? Like on Christmas, they'd send us food, and on Eid and our celebrations, we'd send them. And I used to call him Uncle Patrick and Auntie Mary, So like, there was that kind of community, and we were like worlds apart in terms of our families,
Yes.
Like, do you know what I mean? I think also what's quite interesting, by the way, just going off that, is in the early days of the migrants moving there, I think so many ways you could go here, right? I'll try and keep it positive. But like, there were signs on doors and pubs and stuff that even they'd say like, no blacks, no dogs, and no Irish.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is like in the 80s,
Yes.
There was definitely like, well, actually, so I'm from South Manchester. I'm from a place called Fallowfield. Really interesting place because it's one of these like the biggest university campus in Europe is like behind my house.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So growing up there was just such a interesting place, man, because
Yes.
it's just such a transient kind of little suburb, basically. So in student time, in peak, like it's fucking rammed. There's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of students.
Yes.
There are loads of shops and takeaways and da-da-da-da. But then in term time, when the students go home, it's literally like tumbleweed kind of. There is nobody there.
Wow.
I'm one of the very few families that is like born and raised from Fallowfield, because essentially, because of all the student accommodation, everybody just moved out and started renting their houses to students because you could just get so much money because there's so much of a demand. So a lot of like families have moved out of Fallowfield, but we would have one of the very few that stayed there. A really interesting place to grow up. We made it, man. But just back to our we were talking about a few things. Even where did you want to start? Sorry.
I think the last thing that we were on was aged care sort of thing.
Still.
Yeah, I think we're still
nobody solved that yet.
But I guess like, okay, well, let's mix it into
No, it's
what
good.
we were
It's
talking
good.
about earlier. Oh no.
It was just about the cultures and how much we have to learn from each other, or at least Western systems from Eastern systems.
Yes, agreed.
Right.
And this is one of the core principles of the issue. This is only a Western issue, right? In Asian countries, especially
Totally.
Eastern countries,
They don't
right?
exist.
This
Nursing
issue doesn't
homes.
exist because they
Nursing-
live
for
with
sure.
their family, right?
Totally.
And there are good projects going on, but I believe that a cultural shift is necessary to solve this issue. And I also think there's some pretty left of field things that average people don't even think of, like psychedelic treatment for elderly patients, right? And end of life care through guided psychedelic therapy and things like that. It's yielded really good results in clinical studies, and not just for the elderly, but for mentally ill people across the board.
So,
And I think that has to be involved in the conversation too, especially when you're talking about end of life.
for sure. Look, just exploring our symbiotic relationship with nature and plants, I think, is definitely a good way to go. Right? Just
Agreed.
I feel like the cure isn't down um, a batch of pills, right? Because yeah, like it's just not the way to go, is it? All right, you've got this problem. All right, take this tablet. All right, that tablet is gonna stop this problem, but it's gonna start fucking four more.
Mm.
And then oh, right, I've got these four problems now. Oh, take these four tablets. Oh fuck, now I've got fucking a whole lot of problems that I fucking didn't have 2 years ago, man.
Yes.
You know, with Dad, Ethan, he was just the healthiest, coolest, fucking badass motherfucker you fucking ever met in your life, man. But just did it with so much decor and just decorum and just elegant and cool, and just he was a fucking boss, man. They don't make them like that anymore, sadly. They're just really, that generation is just gone, you know. But he got really sick. He got arthritis, and when he got arthritis, they prescribed him a drug called Voltarol, which was quite new on the market, and it was very high doses that the doctor was giving him. Nobody told us about the side effects, one of them being kidney failure or kidney erosion, at least. So after many years of taking Voltarol and it curing the arthritis, so all right, fucking hell, everything's great. All of a sudden, gets into hospital, and they done some checks, and they're like, mate, you've got like 7% of your kidneys left. And he's like, what? Yeah. So then we started on dialysis, and I don't know if you've ever had any experience with dialysis.
No.
Do you know what it is?
No.
So it's basically fluid retention
Okay.
in your body. And if you get too much, if you like overflow with the fluid, then that could risk going into your lungs and then getting pneumonia. And then there's a whole lot more complications.
Mhm.
So, well, yeah, just dialysis is tough, man. But essentially, they connect you up to some serious like equipment, and it's really draining. Actually, when Dad would be on dialysis, and it was like we'd be on like 6-7 hour sessions, and he'd be like, Bob, I feel like my head's gonna explode, right? And it's yeah, oh, man, it was a really rough time in the hospital, Ethan. I must say, man, I genuinely had a lot of trauma from waking up in the middle of the night, huffing, puffing, sweating, like very disorientated all the time. You can't fucking rest in places like that, right? I feel sorry for the fucking patients, if I'm honest, because ah, nurse, like fucking just someone soiled their pants, someone needs this guy's in pain.
Yeah.
This guy is trying to just get off the street because he's got nowhere to sleep, and he's gonna get some fucking morphine. Like, you know, there's all sorts going on in that hospital, man. Like, it's literally impossible to get any rest or get better in places like this. And I guess, look, you know, it was just massively overrun and understaffed, and you know, to the point where the staff are giving up now. They just don't get paid enough for this shit, man. They're nurses on, like, I saw a shitload of negligence in that place, Ethan. A shitload, and just really lack of accountability, and you know, just, you know, it was ongoing battles in there, man. It really was. You know, just as a fucking example, so Dad was really sick by this point, and you know, they were like, he's very end of a life. I mean, in his credit, they give him probably about 6 weeks, and he ended up lasting 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, but also, you know, and may God forgive me for even saying this, because I obviously did it for Dad, but you know, there is a lot to be said for just leading by example and taking care of an elderly person like that, you know, and just, you know, just showing people that actually, like, that's what you should be doing, you know. And it's because of that willingness that I had with dad that kept him fighting and going as long as he did, you know, because he just had someone that wasn't fucking ready to give up on him, you know. And then like, so when we got into the hospital, I remember the first day I got there, and literally, Ethan, I just booked because we just bought the restaurant in Copenhagen.
Yes.
So we just pumped all the money we had in this building, and yeah, it was fucking risky, you know. Like, so then dad gets sick. Mom was like, look, dad's really sick. He's broken his hip. One of you needs to come home to see him. I ended up leaving on that Friday, get there, and he just pulls me in, and he's like post-op, like he broke his hip. He had Parkinson's, and he was getting out of bed, lost his balance, and ended up falling, broke his hip. That's why we were in hospital this time round.
Okay.
So dialysis we were doing from like we would just go to the clinic every like 2 days, two or 3 days a week, and then bring him back. But then now he's got this hip problem. They did an operation on him, and he just pulls me in and he's like, don't leave me. And I was like, why? And he's like, because they're just really not taking care of me here. And I was just like, what's going on? And then, yeah, just a lot of fucking like battles started. I remember like, he just soiled his pants and the bed, and he'd just come out of this operation. And then in order to change him, fucking complicated process, man, because he's obviously got a broken hip, so he's lying like flat on a bed. What you need to do is you need to like post some fabric underneath him and then roll him up on the good hip.
Yes.
Right. But it's such a fucking delicate process, man.
Of course.
And these guys are just like, they just run in, fucking shove the fucking thingy under him, fucking just literally like, I'm not even fucking with you. And I was watching the whole thing, and then even he was like, ah. And I was like, what the and I lost my shit in there, you know? And they were like, you need to leave. No, because there's fucking hospital, right?
Yeah.
There's like fucking 10 other patients on this ward. And I'm losing my shit, right? And they were like, I was like, no, not after that. You honestly think I'm going to let him be here with you when I've seen you do that to him?
Yes.
Are you fucking kidding me? So then they were like, you just need to like keep your mouth shut and not say anything while we change him then. So then obviously now they knew I'm fucking on them, right?
Yeah.
So then everyone fucking sharpened up, right?
Yes.
He got the care then, right? And, you know, and then I was just like, Dad, there's no way I can fucking leave you after that, right? So I stayed until like right until the end, 8 o'clock. That's when they kick everyone out because the patients need to get some rest and it's feeding time and medication time. And I was like, I'm going to stay. And they were like, no, you can't. You're not a nurse. And I was like, really pissed off, went home. And I was just so worried about him, man. So then I went back the next day and I said to the ward nurse, the ward sister, she's called, it's like, she's the big boss on the ward. And in the second day I was there as well, Ethan, I'd seen enough to like just really keep fucking fueling that fire that I had, that he's not getting the right treatment and I need to fucking be here. So I spoke to the ward sister and she was like, yeah, you're not a medical trained professionals and it's just, we just can't have you on site. And I was like, look, from the way my dad's been treated, I'm not even fucking with you. I'm just going to go to the media and I'm just going to blow the lid on your levels of negligence that I've seen since I've been here just in 48 hours. So if I don't get to take care of my dad, I'm going to really kick up a stink, you know. He's end of life. I've only got 6 weeks with him. I've moved from I'd like come back from Copenhagen, Denmark to fucking be with him. I'll take the pressure off you guys. Everything you can do, I can do. Right? You can clean him, wipe and change him. I'm going to probably do it fucking 10 times better, actually. You know, remember one time the nurses came in and wiped him and he was like semi-wiped and they just put him back. And, you know, I was there and they did that. You know,
Yes.
just kind of shows you the
level of negligence.
They've just kind of fucking given up, Ethan. And just going back to that point, it's not their fault. They just don't get paid enough. There was like 2 nurse or 3 nurse on that ward to like 15 patients on some wards, 20 patients. They just don't get paid enough to care. They're already fucking like, and dad was a complicated case, man. He had a lot of problems. So managed to hustle me being there full time.
Yes.
They ended up putting us in a side room. So it was a private room just for dad with an ensuite. I was washing my underwear and stuff in the sink, man, my socks. I was like living in there with him.
Wow.
Yeah. 9 straight months, Ethan, man. Fucking hell. So you can imagine I saw a lot in them 9 months, just of like, I remember one time a nurse came in to give him like some medication and I was sleeping and I just had one eye open And I remember I was watching it, and the syringe falls on the floor after she'd opened it from a packet. It falls on the floor. She fucking picks it up and just went like this, and I was like, whoa, 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 what the fuck are you doing? And she was like, oh, I didn't realize you were awake. I was like, of course I know you didn't know I was awake. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done that. And then she was like, no, I wasn't going to throw it anyway. I was like, no, you fucking weren't. Like, you know, and like by this point, even while we were in the side room, Dad had a really crazy infection. It's called C. diff. Nasty infection, man. Wouldn't wish it upon a soul. It's fucking horrible. And so that's why they put us in the side room. So he's already really sick. And we got this infection from that hospital because they're just so dirty places, man. You know? And yeah, it's like I said, it's just fucking hard to just be doing what you're doing with such limited resources, you know? And then, like, you know, after a few months, Dad would be like, hey, Paul, why are they treating us like this, man? And I'm like, he's like, I paid my taxes all my life, man. Like, I've been such a model citizen. I've like contributed to my community and all this kind of stuff. And he's
Had
like,
5 kids.
why, right? Who have also fucking, you know, none of us, I don't think anyone's, you know, like, I've never claimed a day of benefit in my life, you know, Ethan. Like, I'm just, that's not what I'm there for. I'll always have a job, you know. I'm not there to take anything from the state because I'm able to work, right? You know what I mean? So we really paid our dues to, like, you know. So I get what he was saying. He was like, look, you know, then he was like, I want to go home. It's like, Dad, we can't, man. Too sick to go home. He's like, I own my own house. Like, he's like, why can't I go to my own house? I was like, Dad, you need to be dialyzed every day. We don't know. Sometimes you're short of breath and we need to put you onto oxygen tank. We'd have some battles, man, because it was just him and I in this room all day, every day. Mum would come a few times a day just to bring food and do like the big kind of clothes washing at home. I was just doing all my underwear and socks and stuff in the sink. Just because you need clean underwear, right? One thing you
can't avoid it.
No, come on, man. I don't get these guys that are rocking fucking boxes for like.
That's disgusting.
Fucking.
No, that's disgusting. I don't even know if that really happens though. Surely not.
Oh, man, you know, when I was in my charity fundraising days, Ethan, I was it's actually pretty cool. I was like just living a life on the road. So I'm with the team, put up in an accommodation, which is quite central to the places that we'd be working each day. You can do that in England. You can just go to like somewhere like Leeds, and then you can work all like the little suburbs around Leeds each day. So Monday in this spot and Tuesday in this spot. So I was kind of living a life on the road with my team.
Yes.
And it was only then it dawned upon me how bad some people's personal hygiene is. And, you know, there's a real sense of stench when you haven't washed. Right, it's like a real stale kind of.
I know what you're talking about.
Right,
yeah.
And these guys, I like, you know, it's just a really difficult conversation to have with somebody who
couldn't agree more.
Who is a grown man.
Yes.
Who everyone in the fucking, because we're in close, we're living together. We're all sharing a car together as well. And we're at a point where your stench I can taste now. Right.
Yeah.
I can taste it.
It's gross.
Right. It's gone past the smelling part. I fucking taste it now, and it's making me sick. So. But you're a grown-ass man and you're a fucking nice guy. So I don't really want to have to lay it on you and savage you and shame you that badly, because that's the only way it's really going to go. Right?
Yeah, I understand. It's a tough conversation to have.
Out on there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's so like embarrassing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like trying to get someone to fix something in their teeth. It's like you don't want to tell them, but it's for their benefit. You know what I mean?
Sure. But yeah, I think also teeth is one thing, Ethan. And if I've ever got some spinach or coriander in my teeth, I expect you to fucking tell me.
I hear you. I agree.
So you know,
Likewise.
I want to know. I want to know. Yeah. I want to know. But with shit, where were we? Sorry.
You were telling me that I smell bad.
Oh no! Oh man, there was actually one guy. He's actually a fucking really good friend of mine, Ethan. Josh Longhurst.
Okay. Really
fucking interesting guy. Looks a bit like a cross between Russell Brand and Bruno Mars.
Oh wow!
Right?
All right.
Yeah. He's like, and he's just really like, but with a very much a. He's a bit Johnny Depp-esque as well, man, in his style as well. Yeah. But he's just a rock star though. Josh, he's a fucking like, you know, he's like, calls me Bizzle. I call him Jizzle, right? And he's like, Bizzle, just got a piercing. And I was like, oh, cool, where? And he just gets his dick out, puts it on the table. And he's like, fucking right there. Right.
That's
Mate, he's a rock star. I promise you, he's fucking rock and roll. Josh is, man. He's fucking hardcore, man. Really, really, really interesting guy. What was I telling you about Josh, Ethan?
I don't know. Is he, when you say he's a rock star, did he play, was he in a
No,
band?
no,
or
no,
was he
no.
just
Oh, no.
like-
I
I know what you mean.
That's
He's-
where I was
okay.
going with him. His hygiene. That's where.
Okay,
Sorry. Yeah. So he basically had like a pretty crazy diet where he'd get like 48 cans of Foster's
Okay.
beer and a loaf of bread and a tin of sardines.
Yep.
And ketchup. And that's what he'd eat and that's what he'd drink all week. Because I'd take the team on a Sunday to do the shopping.
Yes.
Because I just don't want you to tell me that you're broke and then it's my problem now to start
Mm.
paying for food and shit because you spent it all on booze. So let's just get the food out of the way so at least everyone can eat, right?
Agreed.
And Josh, I'd take him to the supermarket and that's what he'd get. He'd get 48 Fosters, a loaf of bread. I'd get everyone to like put in and, you do the cooking one night and I'll do the cooking the next night and, make it fun and interactive. Josh would never fucking wash though. And once a week, I'd have to force him to get into the bath. Right.
This is crazy. Like, this is not normal. I just want to reiterate.
But he's also just a super interesting guy, though.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
incredibly talented and really fucking. There's something else, that
Yes.
guy. Something else. But like, he'd be in there for like literally 2 minutes, and that water would be black. It'd make me sick. I couldn't even go in, man. It was fucking. And the bathrooms are generally white, right?
Yes.
So you could just see all the grub and the grime and the dirt just after a week.
A week's a long time.
Yeah, man.
More than one day is a long
mate,
time
I've just
for
got
me.
nasty, man.
Like, because I've been in situations where it's just not possible to shower for extended periods
Like
of time.
a festival.
I did this photo that we have on the monitor. Maybe just flick it so people can see it, Carl. It's of a view of that's Mount Everest there. That one just here,
Oh, sick.
right? And that's when me and my brother did Everest Base Camp. And there's
Oh,
no
great.
showers at Everest Base Camp, especially not in the wintertime. All the water's frozen. You can barely drink it,
Yeah.
right? And and we had a couple people in our group have showers, but they were so cold after the shower that they
Yeah.
got really sick and
Oh,
were sweaty.
shit, man.
Like, just it messes with you. So you just have to essentially baby wipes, a little bit of deo every now and then, but not too much because you're not going to be able to wash it off. It's so complex, and as you said, you can taste it. People reek,
Yeah,
but there's
man.
nothing you can do about
Yeah.
it. You're literally just in this together.
I
and
suppose
everyone's
that one's a bit
right?
different, though. Ethan,
No,
right?
but I've experienced what
okay,
you're
I see,
talking
I see,
about.
I
Is
see, I
all
see,
I'm saying.
I see, I
But
see.
when I'm at home being normal,
Yeah.
right? I'm showering every morning, right?
Sure.
At least the thing is, I actually shower twice a day. I shower once in the morning with soap and wash my face,
Sure.
brush my teeth, etc. But then I will also shower at night most of the time because I'm having a sauna,
Yeah.
right? And that's really important for me, especially for sleep. It just boosts my sleep like
Yeah,
nothing
right.
else.
Cool.
And before and after I get in, I have a cold shower, sort myself out. So
Yeah, right.
I pride myself on being, pretty hygienic, right?
Yeah, me
And,
too, me
you know,
too, man.
But I think.
What a crazy thing to even say, though.
Well,
right?
yeah, but like this is just
Right.
the base level.
Totally,
like,
totally.
But I think people who have spent time in the kitchen understand hygiene better than people who haven't.
Yeah,
They've got a different
for
respect
sure,
for it,
for sure,
right?
for sure.
Because you understand the responsibility of cooking, preparing a dish, and
just being not being an idiot, right? And just
exactly.
something falling on the floor and putting it back in, and just
Indeed.
but levels of hygiene practice that one would expect from a catering facility.
From an adult, right? Really, because
Sure,
it's
sure,
respect.
sure.
That's all it comes down to. It's respect. The
Agreed,
same way that lady dropped the syringe, picked it up, and was about to put it in your
Totally,
dad.
totally.
It's just a lack of
Totally,
respect. And as
totally.
you said, it's not necessarily her fault.
Totally.
It's the system that's created these issues, right? They're
100%,
structural
man.
issues.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's all it comes down to, right? If you're not someone who is doing the base level things like being having a decent level of hygiene, right, then you got to change your ways. You got to find got to find a way to evolve, because that is just you need a good foundation to build upon, right?
For sure. Ethan, also just going back to our conversation about traveling,
Yeah.
I highly recommend going to Latin America. Same with you, Kyle. If you do get some time just to go for even a month, because you don't want to go that far and not spend a bit of time there. and it's going to take you some time to adjust and get into it. But your money's going to go a lot further, Ethan, first and
100%.
foremost, because Europe's going to fucking sting you, by the way.
Oh,
And what else? Europe's going to sting you. Yeah, but I think you'll just get a lot more from, because what I really digged about Mexico, because so I went from New York, I went to LA. Hated LA, by the way. I did just under a year, and I just found it so hard to make genuine, sincere connections in a city like that.
yes.
And I think I kind of fucked up a little bit because I went to downtown LA as well. I didn't know anything about LA before I got there, and it's not about downtown LA. It's like because I went from downtown New York to downtown LA, so I thought, how different can it be?
Yes.
And fuck me, man. Have you heard of Skid Row?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like 3 blocks away from Skid Row.
Pull up images of Skid Row cars. We're talking
I was 3 blocks away from Skid Row. I'd literally just come out of my Airbnb, and it's like, "Hey, mister, got $1?" Right? And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Got a cigarette?" And I'm like, "No."
Your whole life is
Right.
just a reality TV show, really. Like people coming up to you, watching fights on the side of the
Oh
street.
man, it was crazy.
Oh.
It was, but also crazy wealth as well, though. Like
Because
crazy
you go up
wealth.
into the hills, and
My God.
these homes are worth $20 million, right?
Fucking, like, yeah, man.
Well, it's just like you can
Um,
pull up any of these pictures, but it's just homeless people everywhere, really. And
Yeah,
it's
Skid
a
Row.
giant.
it's like a village, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, if you need any like hard stuff, this is where you go.
where you go.
And these guys are like,
You know what's the worst part of Skid Row is that it's been around for 20 years and it's only gotten worse. Like it's not like certain problems we face today. People love talking about AI. People love talking about robotics and job loss and all this sort of stuff. But we have genuine problems with the way that Western society is run, and we just seem to refuse to address them. This has been a problem for so many years.
Absolutely.
And governors come in of California and say, "We're going to fix Skid Row. We're going to clean up the homeless in LA." And no one. It must either be impossible, right, to actually do it. It's impossible to clean up the homeless in LA. It's just the system isn't structured to get these people off the street, or they just don't care.
Yeah.
And they can't do it, and they won't do it, right?
yeah. I mean, I've just also worked for many a homeless charity as well, Ethan, in London, and the UK, and the problem is just so deep, right? It's like that's just part of the problem, right? You've got the drugs and the alcohol and the mental health and just the failed systems, and it's such a dirty problem, eh? It's just not seen as like one of the more glamorous ones to be wanting to tackle, because I feel like people have given up on these guys too, because there is that stigma attached to the homeless that like you're all a bunch of junkies. Actually, gonna give Glenn a shout out. He's I don't know if you've ever seen a guy on Martin Place. Do you know where the big bollards are?
Yes.
The circular bollards at the bottom, George Street, opposite Burberry. That's where he sits.
Okay.
He's always on like the left-hand side if you're coming from Circular Quay. He's always on the left, where just before the bollards. And he's just fallen on some bad times. He's in his 50s, but nobody wants to hire him. Nicest fucking guy, man. Not on any drink, not any drugs, just homeless. Everyone thinks he's on drink and drugs, and that's why people don't want to give him money. And he's written on his sign as well. He's like, "I just need somewhere to sleep, and I need something to eat, and that's all I need. And I don't have an addiction to fund." And this poor bastard is just out there grinding day in, day out. He's actually someone that brings me a lot of gratitude in my day as well, because I hang out with Glenn a lot. I take him off for coffees and sit down with him and, just give him that humanness, right? And it does a lot for me too, because I just see his really simplistic outlook on life, man. And I'm just like, fuck, why am I overcomplicating my shit? I remember one day I went to work, Ethan, and I was on Martin Place and I was fucking screwing because I think the first guy that I went to stop told me to piss off, and the second guy just spent 20 minutes wasting my time, and it's been a rough morning. And I saw Glenn and I was like, "How's it going?" And he's like, mate, it's only Monday. Right? I was like, fuck, you're so right. What the fuck, man? And I just got sucked in, right? To these fucking wankers, man. I was like, shit, you're sorry, it's only Monday. So, but yeah, we've also failed a guy like him, and there's also another lady, D, she's called. She sits at town hall. I don't know if you've ever seen her. She's with a dog, and a little buggy.
Yeah, I actually reckon I may have.
Yeah. I think it's a Jack Russell. Yeah, cute little thing. But she cleans up. Just because she's female with a dog, and yeah, right. She's clean now, but has had a massive drug history. And I really rate her for that as well. Just, clean, still just grinding it out, just trying to get a better life. You're right, and not going back. Because it's fucking easy too, man, especially when you're on a methadone prescription, because that's what they do to get you off, like heroin, right? So you're still taking something and, it's still doing something for you, So there is a big risk that you can relapse because you're already taking a drug,
That's the thing. Most people who don't have experience with drugs or aren't educated on it think that, the junkies just need to stop doing heroin and then they'll get their lives together slowly, right? But this is a genuine medical process, and if you do just go cold turkey, you could die, right? And the withdrawals from these very hard drugs are like some of the worst symptoms and stories you've ever heard. People just getting no sleep for 72, 92 hours, sweating profusely for days, not being able to eat, not being able to take a shit, nothing.
And look like they're in pain. Look like they're in pain.
Yes,
like,
indeed. Indeed. And it's one of those things where, like, people kind of fall into like there's a spectrum of thought, right? When you have people who are addicted to hard drugs, right? There's a spectrum of self-responsibility, and the structure of society has failed them, right? In whatever way, whatever manifestation of their problems has led them to abuse hard drugs. Right? And there's a element of self-responsibility where you have to do your best to stay away from those things and educate yourself. But then there's also elements of structural contributors that breed these
absolutely,
right?
Man, absolutely. I think with us in England, for example, a big part of our homeless crisis started with Margaret Thatcher. Because she essentially sold a lot of the public housing. The scheme was great. There was the right to buy, where if you've lived in your council property for X amount of time, you have the right to buy your own house and have your own property, which great idea. They sold all the social housing. They didn't rebuild anymore. So population grew. And, all of a sudden it really wasn't
smart idea long
absolutely not, man. Like, nobody thought about it, right? And at least fucking rebuild some more. Come on, man, fucking think about this like long term, right? Anyway, so I think that really contributed to our levels of homeless. Look, even when I was in the UK, which was many years ago, and I'm sure the numbers are very different now, but at the time it was, and this was I can't remember, 2009, I believe. Don't quote me on that because I can't remember. A lot of my life's a blur, if I'm honest. Especially in the years, the dates.
I understand.
I'm just so bad with the dates,
yes.
man. But 2009, there was 1 million immediate, like, on the street homeless in London alone. 1 million. Listen, and I think 500,000. Sorry, other way around. 500,000 people on the streets, homeless, and 1 million as hidden homeless.
Okay, all right.
So that's self-surfing.
Yes.
Bed and breakfasts, hostels, no like permanent fixed abode.
Barely getting by.
Right, just a shit situation, especially if you've got 2 kids as well. It's the fucking worst situation you want to be in. Like, and also you don't know who's in the room next to you in that B&B.
Yes.
Right? He could be a real scumbag, and the chances are pretty high. He probably is, like, especially if we're in certain areas of the United Kingdom. Definitely some places of Manchester. Right. Like, it's just a really, really, really shitty situation. And normal people, Ethan, that I've just like, we used to say to people when we were fundraising for shelter that, most people are 2 pay packets away from becoming homeless. There's a lot of people, that like are living check to check.
50% of Australians are living paycheck to paycheck right now.
If you don't get your paycheck and some shit happens, or you can't account for a big bill that's come, or you're right,
Your car breaks down.
there's so
You
much
need a
shit, Ethan.
knee
Fucking hell.
reconstruction. Your parents get
Mate,
sick.
totally.
People are one financial tragedy away
Absolutely.
from being in serious hardship.
You
right?
fucking know it.
And 50% of people are living paycheck to paycheck in Australia right now. Median house prices are now $1.5 million in Sydney. Median house price. So that's like, to most people's standards, like, we're very lucky here on the northern beaches.
Yeah.
That's like, that's not on the northern beaches, that house. That's in a place where most people wouldn't dream of living, right? It's just the average place to get by,
Totally.
right? But now the dream of just owning an apartment is so out of reach for so many. Like, I've had a lot of young people on the show,
mate,
and people are nervous. People don't know what they're going to do.
for sure.
Permanently renting, right? It's insane.
I think, oh man, like, yeah. I think, I was reading something recently about this. It was quite interesting, and it was about, the guy was saying, don't you think it's funny that, like, like in your parents' kind of era, there was one household, you were still, one income, you were still able to feed the family and buy a house. Probably wasn't easy, but you were still able to do it. Now, you tell me any young gun, Ethan, of a similar age range to yourself. 25?
I'm 23.
20, okay. So must be that mature energy you're giving me, baby.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but look, okay, is even 23. You would consider you and yourself, Kyle, young professionals, right?
Sure.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
You're of that demographic, aren't you? For you to get on the property ladder now is next to impossible.
Yes.
Unless you haven't got some financial backing from siblings, parents, grandparents, inheritance, something along these lines. If you haven't got a bit of an upper hand, there is no fucking way you're getting a mortgage on an apartment in North Sydney, let's just say, for example.
No way. Right.
Right.
The bank of mum and dad has become a pivotal part in Australia's economy, I think. And this is a really big problem.
Why should it be on them?
No, exactly. It's just the system. It's the way that housing prices
sorry, I wasn't having a go at you.
No.
I was like,
No, but we're trying to, I'm trying to take this problem down. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because how did we get there and how do we fix it? Because as we were talking about with the UK issue, they've got a election coming up in the next 2 years. And your comment was, we're already too deep down the rabbit hole. We can't fix this. No matter who comes in, right? Over the course of 4 years, they're not going to be able to reverse the problems that we currently have.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm scared that Australia might be in the same place, right? And a lot of people that we talk to, it's only getting worse. House prices are only becoming more unaffordable. Cost of living's only getting worse. And it doesn't seem to, and we seem to be on a similar trajectory to the UK. And a lot of people are starting to make similarities to the UK and go, Are we the UK back in 2010 and the next 15 years are going to be really hard for us, right? And then, the UK and the issues that they're going through is a manifestation of so many global issues that are happening now.
Also, Brexit fucked us as well, Ethan. Brexit really screwed with us, man. We just lost so much money and deals and just influence and just... Yeah, it was really a fucking dumb move, man, for the UK. And everyone regretted it afterwards, man. And also, I really feel that didn't help. I just wanted to pick something up, what you were just saying, though, Ethan, about Sydney is... these are London prices. We're living in fucking, the rent and the, like, property prices. It's very much London, man. Like, without the London, everything else,
Yes.
Sydney, I think it's okay, Ethan. I think it's okay. I don't think it's like...
It's not a life-changing city like you described.
Absolutely, yeah, and thank you. Very well articulated. That's exactly what I wanted to say.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. It's basically like how I feel about Sydney. It's okay, it's safe and it's nice, and
it's safe. It's safe. That's the best part about the city.
It's definitely safe.
It's like, in comparison to other cities in the world, it's not perfect. No city in the world's perfect, right? But when you're talking about safety levels in comparison to other cities, that's what we really have. Right?
Even, oh man, it's fucking reminded me of a crazy story, man. So I lived in LA for just under a year. I had enough, just didn't want to be there. Like in that, and for me, guys, I'm a, pretty socially savvy guy.
Agree.
And somewhat likable and got a bit of chat, and it's right, you know. And even I struggled, Ethan, to make friends in LA. You know, I really, because everyone's got a bit of a hidden agenda. It's like what you
Yes.
can do for them,
Exactly.
and no one's very sincere with their connections because everyone's trying to make it as an actor or a musician. And if you're not a movie producer or a script writer or like,
Why
you
am
just
I even talking to you
do you know,
if you can't
right?
help me?
You've like, and
Yep.
let alone a fucking charity worker. You open with to anyone in a club
Oh.
that you work for, an NGO, right? People don't take you fucking seriously, man. Like what? So anyway, so I had enough of LA, man, and then I just thought, fuck it, I'm just all the way there. I might as well just go do some backpacking. So I just got a flight from LAX to Mexico City, and on my 4th day of like being in Mexico, I'm walking down the street and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, man. And I just honestly, some guy just grabbed me from behind, put his arm around my neck, choked me until I passed out. I'm not even fucking with you. 4 in the afternoon in Mexico City. I woke up maybe 15, 20 minutes later. First thing I did, I fucking checked for my kidneys, right?
Yeah.
Fucking straight away, man. I fucking looked to see if anyone fucking cut me open, right?
Yeah.
And then I kind of like realized what happened. They fucking took my phone, my wallet. Do you know, they even took my dad's wedding engagement ring, man. That was just the one thing. I couldn't give a fuck about the 400 fucking US dollars in cash or the credit cards or the driver's license.
Stupid iPhone or something.
Right, believe me, it was a ball ache to lose all them cards on your 4th day in fucking Mexico City too, man, because I literally had everything in my wallet, everything. You know, I had my passport in my locker, and that was my only saving grace.
Wow.
Right, my passport was in my locker. Everything else I just had on me. And also, what's pretty crazy, when I came round, I was like looking around, and everyone had like, there was a busy street. People had been fucking watching, and then everyone just pretended just to get along with like they didn't
Their
see
own
anything.
lives, yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, hablas inglés, and I was like, no, papi, no inglés. And I'm like,
And these people literally just saw you get choked out like 5 minutes ago.
man. Then I go to the police. I was like, hey, man, just got fucking choked out, and someone's fucking robbed me.
Yes.
Watch everything, man. And he was like, what did he look like? I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, you don't have a case, do you?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
You're
man.
done. You're cooked.
Now, even I don't know where I am, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've been walking for like half an hour, 40 minutes, like, you know, just going down some streets that interested me. Right in the middle of the city, though.
Yes. So the illusion of safety was there's so many people around.
Right, absolutely.
If anything was like nothing's gonna
And
happen, right?
You know, Eastman, the way they fucking did it, all right, it was very clean. It's how I would probably want to get robbed if I had.
Okay, all right.
Because in Karachi, in Pakistan, they hold you at gunpoint.
Yes, yes.
And-
And all it takes is something to go wrong.
You, hand
something
it, you
yeah,
just hand it over. No going wrong.
No.
You ask for a phone and you're pointing a gun at me, you're getting a phone.
exactly.
And fucking whatever else you want, you know.
Yes.
It's just not worth your life. And they will pull the trigger, these motherfuckers.
That's what I'm saying. It's one bad decision away
For
from
sure,
you
for
dying,
sure,
right?
for
But when
sure.
you're getting choked out, like it's not necessarily the same.
Right. Well,
It's cleaner.
It's definitely cleaner.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so then I'm like, I'm fucked, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's not good.
Right. Also, it's my 4th day, man. I've
Yeah.
fucking never been backpacking in my life, man. Like, fucking, I've been traveling but living in hotels and Airbnbs. But I never fucking been in the middle of Mexico City with no phone, no wallet. Fucking,
Yes.
Honestly, I was fucked. And I didn't even know where the fuck the hostel was because I was just using Google Maps and just, you know, now I don't have a phone and I don't even know the fucking name of the places, you know. Anyway, from us fucking trekking for a little bit, and I end up seeing some shit that looked familiar and went down some streets and found my hostel. Fuck, that's a relief. So I get upstairs and I'm just lying there on my bed and I just got my fucking head in my hands. I'm just like, God, what the fuck? What do I do? I don't know anyone. Fucking, like, what the fuck do I do, man? Like, and then these 2 Swedish guys, they just come up, and Victor and Douglas, and they're like, hey, you okay? I was like, mate, I've just been robbed, man. I'm pretty fucked. And he was just like, mate, the same thing happened to me in Thailand. Here's a bit of cash. Here's a phone. Call who you need to call. And fucking, they just like literally restored my faith in humanity. These guys.
Wow.
Like they would like just sent there as 2 fucking guardian angels. I promise you, man. Like I'm still friends with these guys today. I remember I ended up traveling with them for the next 3 months as well, Victor and Dougie. But it was so on top, man, because I only had a passport. So then I had to fucking call my bank, and they were like, mate, we can't send your bank card to Mexico.
Yeah.
So we have to send it to your home address that you're registered to, where my mum lives. So I was like, fuck. So my mum, bless her, man, every week she'd go out and take, because the limit is £250 a day.
Okay.
$500.
Yep.
So every week, my mom would just take out money and go on Western Union it to me because I only had a passport.
Yes.
You know, so then I was just fucking carrying wads of cash, right, through fucking Mexico, you know, on buses and like, because I only had cash, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have any cards, right? It was fucking, honestly, it was on top, man. But I went to Mexico's magical, you know. Even if you ever go, Kyle, I'll give you a bit of an itinerary of some of the shit you need to do there. But ended up, I went to this place called San Jose del Pacifico. This is like one of the most magical places I've ever been to. It's AKA Mushroom Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the one part. Oh, this is one of the parts where hallucinogenic mushrooms grow wild and they're legal to do.
Okay.
In Mexico because the indigenous have been doing them for centuries. So it attracts guys like me.
I understand.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so I went there, man, and you know, I was just trekking, and it's like you're so high up, you're in the mountains.
Yes.
But they're the most luscious, greenest mountains. It's pretty crazy, man. It's really crazy, actually. But you get all weather conditions up there. You can literally be walking down this like incredible like landscape of like mountain-esque scenery, and then all of a sudden you're just walking into a cloud because you're that
high up.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Really, and just the weather changes all the time, man. It's like burning hot one minute and then fucking tropical rain there. That's why these mountains are so lush and green.
Yes.
Because you just get all the weather conditions all the time. Really fucking cool. Magical place, Ethan. Really, if you ever get a chance, boys, to go to San Jose del Pacifico. So anyway, I was like trekking up, I find this guy, and I'm not even fucking with you. He's like a Mexican-looking Gandalf motherfucker. Right? I'm not even joking. Top hat, staff, got a little dog, long beard, right? And I'm like, hey man, I'm looking for some mushrooms. And he's like, cabron, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I was like, shut up and take my money, mate. Are you kidding me? So it turns out Navarro, this guy, mushroom master, he goes, yeah, picking. Like he'll show you what strains and what to pick and what to do and da-da-da. Really, really cool guy, man. I spent a few days with this guy just tripping balls on. No, seriously. I'm not even joking. There's one strain, it's called the Maestro.
Okay.
Literally, the translation is the teacher. And that's the kind of relationship these guys have with, you know, like I was saying earlier about like, you know, our relationship with nature and plants.
Yes.
And, you know, these guys call this mushroom the teacher. That this will teach me something.
Agreed. And you see that across many ancient civilizations too. Like you see that in Peru with ayahuasca. They believe it's a teacher. And
Absolutely. But it is though, right? It is, man.
Exactly.
So yeah, like I spent a few days with Navarro. We went. Actually, I never tried this thing. Actually, it's really interesting, Ethan. It's called a temescal, and what he does is it's like a massive sauna made of clay.
Okay.
Because you're in the wilderness,
in the
right?
mountains.
So it's like,
Yep.
yeah. And what he does is he basically lights a little fire and keeps putting like really hot coal in there to steam out all your toxins.
Yes. Okay.
Before you drink this tea that he's prepared. And then the great thing about Navarro is his ranch is like pretty closed off. So you're not, guy like me, it's game over for me, right? I'm a city guy. Right?
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing in a fucking jungle.
Yep.
So it's nice that, like, actually, I only took maybe 10 steps because I'd fasted the night before.
Okay.
Just so it really, like,
It was gonna hit.
kicked in immediately, right?
Yeah.
You know, I was like on an empty stomach for 24 hours, man.
Yes.
So then, yeah, down this tea, and then fucking bam, hit me. I went through all sorts of emotions, man. I cried, I laughed, I just felt very relieved by the end of it, if I'm honest. You know, it felt like someone had lifted a bit of a weight off my shoulders, man. Like, yeah, just a bit of a reset on emotions, and it was really, really healthy for me, you know. And then I stayed with him for a bit, and then I just went on my own, man. Ended up in a place called Palenque,
Okay.
which is on the border of Guatemala. Also serious jungle. And I hung out there for a bit and met a guy who gave me some organic DMT.
Yeah,
Right.
which is like that's essentially ayahuasca, right? Because
Yeah,
DMT
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
organic. Yeah.
Sure. It's like the Western way of kind of consuming it too. You're not gonna like, it's not the most sophisticated way. It's through a crack pipe, to be
Okay.
fair,
Okay. I hear
it's
you.
not very like classy.
Mm,
But profoundly eye-opening
yeah.
experience.
Mm.
And at that time, I was so dumb, Ethan. I'd already had like 15 grams of the maestro, and then I hit this fucking DMT on top of it.
Yeah.
Right, honestly, I'm surprised my brain hasn't fried. Right, seriously, because I was in these jungles for a while,
Yes.
just doing my thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
You know?
tripping out big
Mate,
time.
fucking, but this place in Palenque was incredible, man. It's called a cabana. It's a little wooden hut, and it's literally suspended. There's like a river below you.
Yes.
You can dangle your legs off your little porch, and just there's the river running.
Yes.
It's fucking sick. Something else. I remember hitting his DMT, and I looked to my right, and I see some fucking iguana. That's right. And his fucking eyes going all crazy, and he's like literally here. And I'm fucking panicking because I don't know what the fuck this guy is. I don't really want to meet you when I'm feeling like this,
I understand.
But what also was quite interesting, it just felt like he kind of got me as well, right? Just like that, like I just like could sense that like I'm not a threat, and I knew he wasn't a threat. It was a really crazy like experience, man. And he was literally just fucking sitting there next to me, man, fucking iguana. And then I'm like, am I high? Right? Are you actually there? Right? What's right?
Is this in my mind right now?
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought, just to be on the safe side, I'll just edge that way, away from this guy. Fucking.
Just give myself 1 or 2 meters,
For sure. Just in case. You never know, right? If he wants to fucking send his tongue out at me, I'm going to be a bit defenseless at this stage, right? Bit too vulnerable now.
Yes.
To be having a fight with a fucking iguana in a fucking jungle, right? Yeah. But yes, I'd highly recommend anybody go to Mexico and spend some time, like just, there's also one place actually. There's a place called Oaxaca. It's like quite central, massively like famous for like culture. Frida Kahlo, she's from Oaxaca.
Okay.
Or from that region. Massively inspired by her and just the colors and the art and the culture and the food. And it's really, really like it's a fucking cultural hub, Oaxaca. It really is. I really just I got there and just fell in love with it. So then I stayed like 4 months in this hostel with Jaime and his family. They're a good Christian family, these guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me in as a son by the end of it, like,
Wow.
yeah. It was, they were great. And I'd based myself in Oaxaca, and then, cause you've got this, have you heard of a beach called Puerto Escondido?
No, I have not.
Really famous,
Okay.
famous. It's fucking stunning as well. Man. That's like 3 hours from Oaxaca.
Okay.
In one direction. Then the other direction, that's where these mountains are, San Jose.
Mhm.
So it's a really good like central spot to base yourself.
I
And
understand.
just so every few days I just go to like here or there, and then always coming back to Oaxaca as like the base.
Yep.
And it just helped that I had a really cool crew there as well, local crew as well. Jaime and his boys are all like just like to smoke and just get like hang out and have some drinks, and just really cool guys.
Yes.
Similar age, Mexican locals. And their culture's cool, man. It's welcoming, it's warming. Also gravitated around food and family orientated. A lot of it comes from religion too, granted. But so I really saw some like really like it's funny when I got robbed, Ethan. At that point I was like, I was just ready to come home. I was just like, fuck this, man. Like just this massive kind of. And I just really fucking lost my faith in humanity too, man.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, fuck, man. There's fucking people out
I
there
can't
that
believe
do
this
that
could
shit.
happen to me.
Totally.
And that it happens in such a public place, right?
Totally, man. Totally.
I
Right.
understand.
And then also just, I still think about my dad's wedding engagement ring. He's been in my family for so long.
I understand.
And I just hate that I was that guy that got it robbed, man. I really like it just sits a bit fucking heavy on my heart,
I understand.
because I thought I'd give it to my kids, Anyway,
It's those items are such a legacy.
that's
thing,
the one,
right?
man.
And
The only thing I could give a fuck about.
exactly, and that means far more than an iPhone or
Totally.
a silly card, right? That just creates a great story, almost,
Totally,
right?
totally.
Yeah, go back home, do some jujitsu lessons, try and get better. You know, that's all you can do. Because in a situation like that, really, you got two options, right? You got first call of defense. Someone gets you from behind. They've got you in a rear naked choke, right? Essentially, you want to try and fight the hands and get out of it and turn into them. So I'll explain your situation.
He was just fucking huge.
Yeah, if there's sometimes there's nothing
and
you can do.
I'm a little guy, man. I don't know if the camera can see me, boys and girls, but I'm only little, man.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
Me and you both.
Right.
But one thing that could save people that are even smaller, right? Because fighting the hands is very tough. You have to have the right technique. But all that has to happen is you have to just because what needs to happen is they need to create leverage with this hand,
Sure.
right? To really squeeze with the
Sure.
lats. But if they don't have the connection of this hand because your hand's here, you won't pass out. You'll be stuck,
Sure.
but you won't pass out.
Sure,
And hopefully
sure.
in a public setting, something
enough
can happen.
time to-
But
yeah,
there's
yeah.
another technique that is actually better in a self-defense scenario because that's more like fight talk. But this, what I'm about to say, you can't do in an MMA fight. It's illegal. It's too dangerous, right? If someone has your back and they have a fully locked-in choke, if you're able to flip them onto your back and dive head first at the ground, their head is actually going to hit the ground first, and they might break their neck. Or most of the
Fingers
time,
crossed.
yeah. Well, no. Most of the time, they'll go, "Oh shit," and they'll let go,
Yeah.
and they'll let go. You'll
Close.
do a somersault, and they'll fly onto the pavement.
right.
But that's only if you can get them up onto your back. I'm getting very technical about this now, but you
Yeah,
can't do that in MMA. It's an illegal move
Yeah,
because you can
I-
break someone's neck.
Are you into the MMA?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
I like it too, man.
Do you train or are you just
no,
a fan?
No, I just a fan.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
a big fan.
Yeah,
big
okay, good,
fan.
good,
But I
good.
also train too. And
Okay,
I'm a
sick.
big fan of
Cool, man.
doing all things mixed martial arts.
Very cool.
So
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
As soon as like literally if someone got me in a choke, I'd be like, "This is it. Like this is what I've been training for the whole time." If I'm in Mexico, I'm like, "Bro, I'm leaving here with something." If someone's super huge and they sneak up on you, there's almost nothing you can do. But giving yourself a chance, it's not a bad idea. Right, but that's the dangerous thing about other countries as well. You don't know the culture. People just walk around with
For sure,
headphones
man.
in, and they just think they're safe.
Totally,
And next minute,
totally,
you got no
totally.
possessions.
And absolutely. And I think what really helped me get over that one, Ethan, was I just thought there's someone somewhere that really needed that, and that's why.
And they were willing to
Right, and
commit
that's why
crimes
they
to
did
do
it, man. So how shit must your life be if that's what's happening? That's how you're having to live,
Yes.
And I just thought, fuck, man, like I'm just blessed that I was the guy he was robbing.
Yes, and praise God you were safe in the end as well.
Right, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely, man. Fucking, because I could have been so much worse, so much worse. If that was Pakistan, it might have been a bit of a different ball game, because we don't mind the kidnapping as Pakistanis, So I think I'm just happy that I left with all my limbs.
I understand.
Right? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it could have
No,
been fucking so much
It could
worse.
have been
Right,
so-
guy,
but- and your
fuck's
kidneys
sake, man.
too. You were saying
Mate,
you wake up
fucking hell.
like because that's the thing.
Right.
You're checking your physical pockets before you're checking your pockets in your pants.
For
really.
sure,
You're like,
man.
oh, are my organs still here? They
Yeah,
cut me
yeah,
open
yeah. It was
because you have no
fucking-
idea what's going on. right?
Totally, man. And I've seen enough horror movies, right, to know that people fucking do that shit, man. There are some sick bastards out there, Ray.
I understand.
Like,
Well, let's talk about Pakistan a little bit because we
oh,
kind of
mate,
talked about.
Pakistan's magical, man. It really is.
When was the last time you went back?
Fucking too long ago, man. So I went for my friend's wedding and to do some R&D, some
Okay.
research and development for
Okay.
the restaurant and stuff, right? So Sherry from Karachi, these guys are moving out there, and it just helps that I've got like a guy that's similar to my age that just gets it and just knows the shit that guys like us are into. So it was very like amazing to navigate through Karachi with a guy like that.
Yes.
Because he just gets it, and he's a man about town. He knows his shit. Really, really cool guy. Sherry, love him, man. So we're staying with his family, and yeah, I feel really sorry for Pakistan, Ethan, because we've just had some of the worst leadership ever, and the levels of corruption are insane. Like from the bottom right the way to the top, and anywhere and everywhere in between. there's not an honest guy out there, man. There really isn't. And you can't be, because it's so fucking hard to live out there that you have to fucking shake someone down wherever you can, from like, a living perspective.
Yeah, survival standpoint.
Right, exactly. That, like, it's fucking tough, man. And we're fucking rich, man. We've got resources, man, agriculture, and there's all sorts of shit. We're a very wealthy country, man. It's just, we've just been fucking robbed,
Poor leadership.
The last guy, the only decent guy that came through was Imran Khan.
Okay.
And he was a very famous cricketer turned politician. And he ended up getting ousted and thrown into jail because he was probably the best thing that ever happened to that place. And that just shows you a lot about that political system, that the prime minister is able to get thrown in jail because he's too honest. Like, as soon as he came in, he fired the whole cabinet and started again. He's like, I don't know how deep the corruption is. I don't need your money because I'm fucking rich.
Yeah.
I just want to sort the country out, And like, people are behind Imran Khan. He's a fucking good guy, man. Got thrown in jail, man. And he got 12 years. And the reason why I didn't give him any more than 12 is because anything after 12 in Pakistan is a death penalty.
Wow.
And if they killed him, it would have been fucking over.
Yes.
And there was massive like protests and riots and all this kind of shit. But the police were just fucking killing people, right? They were just fucking shooting at them, right? So it's just not worth it, right? Because they just don't give a fuck, man. And I really, because the people are great, Afe, and just my family, and just the people on the bottom, man. It's the clowns in fucking office that are looting the country and are greedy bastards. It isn't the people on the bottom. They're fucking amazing. They've just had to turn out the way they are because you motherfuckers are taking too much of the pie and not fucking supporting these guys. We get so much in foreign aid, and hey, we're fucking literally, it's a fucking rich country, man. Just fucking clowns running it, These guys, most of them have got 15-20 million pound mansions in London, like downtown London,
Yeah.
Most of them. There's protests. There's one guy's a daddy. There's a lot of Pakistanis that live in London that protest outside his house every single fucking day because they're just like, where is the fucking shame?
Yeah.
Right? Like, these guys are dying there, man. And
Yeah.
you piece of shit, fucking living here,
Well, that's what you see, especially in London, because it's such a central hub of the world. You see so many oligarchs from Russia, Pakistan, India, just moving over there and abusing the system and funneling money through the third world country while living a better life in a developed one, right?
Crazy.
It's a crazy system, but you see it in so many of those developing nations. And Pakistan's story, just like so many other stories in that region,
Absolutely,
is such a complex one that has so much rooted in history, like all the way back when it was British India and the collapse of British India and the split between India and Pakistan and the religious hatred there and the
that's where
territorial
dispute.
dispute.
Before the Brits came, from what I understand in my research and quest for wanting to know, like what it was like. Everyone talks about the good old days where everyone was living in harmony. The Hindus, the Muslims, the Sikhs, and also there's quite a few offshoots of Hinduism as well.
Yes.
And everyone was living in harmony, man. Nobody had any fucking problems, And I think just this divide that happened really we're seeing the effects today, man, with conflicts of both countries fighting over Kashmir and, there are loads of fucking spy planes going over and, all sorts of crazy shit going on, man. And, personally, it's actually really sad, Ethan. I can't get a visa to India as a Pakistani, right? I can't get a visa. And my dad was born in a place called Uttar Pradesh, which is like northeast India.
Okay.
Prior to the partition.
Yes.
He was fucking born in India. My dad was before this partition took place. So I feel I've got just as much right to go to that fucking country as any of these German or French backpackers that are out there finding themselves, right? With, I feel like I've got
just genuine roots in the country.
Right, that I fucking deserve to be there, man.
Yes.
I really do, right? Because I want to see where it all started. I want to know where my dad grew up. I want to see the streets that he walked around. Like, I've got some claim to that place.
Understood. The same way that I want to visit Serbia.
Absolutely,
and see the exact same thing.
And also, since losing dad, even I want to go even more now because it would have been cool to walk around the streets with him.
Yes,
and he could tell me, but this is like some of the stuff I've got now, right? Is do you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
and I think it's just so sad. Also, another reason I'd like to go to India, because I just think them guys, they just cook better vegetarian food than we do.
Mm,
They're like a nation of vegetarians,
yes.
and our tandoori, our grill stuff, we're leading in.
Yeah.
But because they don't really eat meat,
Yes.
but they are, like I said, a nation of vegetarian eaters. So their vegetable game in curries is another level,
Mm,
and also just very different, because you got to remember, India's so big, right? Pakistan is so big. Things change region to region, city to city, village to village,
mhm.
community to community, like family to family. Like, it's so fucking rich and diverse in that kind of like level of culture with food and heritage and traditions and all this kind of stuff. So I just really want to go and see and like be amongst it,
Mm,
because it's a part of me, right? It's where I've come from, man.
exactly.
Someone I remember meeting a businessman somewhere, even Martin Place or Barangaroo, or like, and he kind of had his shit together. It's cool. Like I said earlier, cool thing about my job, Ethan. I just meet such a diverse audience, right?
Yes.
You literally it's so interesting, right? You literally from Drew, who sells the big issue there. I don't know if you know him.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely guy, man. Buy a big issue from him next time you see him, mate.
All right.
Yeah. Tell him Bobby says hey as well.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
please do. And take the big issue. Don't do what my mate did. Bought the big issue, is like, no, keep it. And then
No,
he's like,
you gotta
I'm
take
selling
it.
it. I'm
Support
fucking
them.
selling it.
Yeah.
Right. And then my mate felt bad, man. He's like, shit, I fucking just did that. But Drew, he's a fucking legend, right? And he's like, it's so crazy, right? That he's got nothing, this guy.
Mm,
But it just turns up always in a relatively good mood, as good as you can be in his situation,
mhm.
and just gets on with it. And then you meet these fucking CEOs and directors and, just stupid amounts of money, but can clearly see they've not had a fucking decent night's sleep in fucking 3 weeks, like they're fucking worried, these
Yep.
guys, like, and it's just amazing, just the diversity of people that you can just meet in any given day. I remember meeting this guy, quite a big shot in India, got some business here, and he's like, if you want to apply for a visa to India, you probably should do it when India and Pakistan are having a cricket match
Okay.
in India,
Yes.
because they're just going to be approving a lot more tourists.
Yep.
People that are going to book a ticket to see the match,
Yep.
because you'd want to see it anyway,
Exactly.
and then just hang around, man, for a couple of weeks, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that's a pretty smart way of
It's
doing
a
it,
pretty smart way of doing it.
right? Because
Thank God for cricket.
But yeah. So I thought that could be the. But also, I feel like, if a part of me just feels like, if you don't even want me in your country, then fuck you as well, man. If I've got to work that hard
Yeah.
to like go somewhere,
Then is that the place
I'll go somewhere else, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I understand.
and yeah. I'm sure when I get there, it'd be amazing. But there's also other places in the world, right?
Oh, agreed.
I've
I've got a mate that's really keen on going to India and doing this tuk-tuk race. Apparently, you start in the northern part of India. You get this tuk-tuk for approximately like 3 weeks, and it's a race to drive it all the way down to the south end of India. And it's just an absolute adventure. Apparently, I don't know too much about it. Maybe Kyle could pull up some stuff on it, because it sounds pretty interesting. But yeah,
sure,
and
man.
I think that would be a really genuine way to see the country, because you're literally just traveling on their roads, stopping at local places.
That's off the beaten track.
Exactly. Like
Off
the
the beaten
tuk-tuk
track.
breaks down, you need to get locals to come help you. You're eating at
And they would as well, man.
yeah, and that's like part of the journey. Instead of
Totally,
like, the
totally.
itinerary today, we're going to this museum,
Absolutely,
learning about this, and then we're going to this big city. This is a way to actually see not the whole country, but just a line down the middle.
But even that's why I like to travel alone as well, because I just don't really like to have to keep compromising with people. If I want to like just have a lie-in and go wander around the markets one day, that's what I want to do,
I hear you.
right? And I found this a lot. I didn't travel with many people, truthfully, Ethan. Sorry.
Do you need the bathroom?
I do, actually.
Yeah, let me get you out. Hold on. No, I'm a big Brazil nut fan.
Mhm.
Brazil nuts are one of the only ways to get something called selenium, which is like a micronutrient that we all need. And most people are deficient. Most people don't even know what selenium is.
I don't actually, admittedly.
It's really good for testosterone production,
Mm.
for hormone health, etc. And Brazil nuts are actually the best form of selenium. So I actually get a Brazil nut. I get a almond, Brazil nut, and cashew butter that I put into a smoothie that I essentially have every day.
Right.
And that's how I get my daily dose of
Right.
selenium.
Canal.
I'm a big fan.
I
I'm
can
dialed
see.
into the diet and stuff like that.
I'm starting to get sold myself, mate.
That's one of the beauties of cooking as well, though. Like, it opens up both the nutrition door,
For sure.
the cooking door, but then that also opens up the lifestyle fitness door.
And
et cetera.
cheaper as well, man.
100%.
Right. You know, just a big motivation for people not wanting to go out is because they can, you know, like often we can't take our mum ever to a restaurant because she's just like, how much did it cost? And then we'll tell her, and she's like, I could have done 4 times as much food for 2 times as many people as we are here
Yeah.
for half of that amount of money. And it would be fucking amazing.
Yes. It'd probably be better.
Right. You know, so I just think, just in the current climate, it's definitely cheaper, right? And like you said, you know, for me, Ethan, I do my meal preps on a Sunday.
Same.
And I just buy, just do the big shop. Just I'll plan like a day or 2 with fish, a day or 2 with chicken, and a day or 2 with like a steak or lamb or something like this, and just marinate it and leave it in the fridge, and then just cook it as I go along.
Yep.
And what's great about that is it just stops me from eating so much shit on the fly, because that's the ticket to eating well is being prepared.
Yes. Agreed.
Right? You just need to be on point with your prep. That will stop you from impulse decisions of just fucking having a KFC or and also, like, sometimes the emotions get the better of you too, man. You're just like, oh fuck, it's been a rough day. I think I deserve a fucking McDonald's or
whatever you
right.
justify in your mind.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally. And it just stops you from making them decisions too when you're prepped, you know. And it does just amaze me how unhealthy the UK is getting at the moment, man. And I feel like you guys have got a pretty big problem here outside of the cities. You know, I didn't really see many obese people downtown, but going out into the sticks, I've definitely seen a fair amount of overweight people with real lack of oral hygiene. Just to put that one in there.
No, I understand.
You know, and we the fucking pioneers of fucking terrible oral hygiene.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what the British are known for,
Right. It's so true, man. We just got some shitty teeth, eh?
You got nice teeth, though.
Yeah, they're not mine, man. I just
okay.
found them, man. I just picked them up on the way here, mate. No, no. Thankfully, I've never had braces either, man. So
Wow.
I've never even needed to earn these teeth, and thank God for that, man. But yeah, man, people just give up on their oral hygiene in England, you know. And one thing I'll say about the Americans, as much as people want to cuss them, their teeth are fucking immaculate. They've got good teeth, you know, and they spend the money on them, you know.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
You know, it's just ingrained into them. I remember once I was fundraising in some trench in England somewhere. I remember meeting this like chavvy mum. We call them chavs, you call them bogans.
Okay, yep.
You know, but ours are like, oh, I still think your bogans still might have a little bit more sophistication and class than our ones.
Yep.
Right? It's a much of a much, but they're still a slightly classier here. And I remember her saying, so I was like, you know, pouring my heart out about, you know, Greenpeace or whatever the campaign was. And I said, you're going to give us a hand? And she was like, yeah, I would, but... And she had no teeth, by the way, this mum. Young mum as well, 4 kids. Young mum, man. And I was like, so you're going to give us a hand? And she was like, no, I can't. I'm saving up. And I was like, for what? And she was like, a boob job. Right? And I just remember thinking, surely you should be fixing your teeth first, right?
Surely.
Right? Surely.
Yeah.
You know, like, that just shows you where our priorities are. You know, that you think a fake pair of tits is more advantageous to you than a fucking set of teeth, man.
That's the society we're growing up in.
Crazy.
Right? It is crazy. It is crazy. And it's an extreme example of the manifestation of this comparative environment that we live in right now with social media. Yeah, exactly.
A real comparative environment.
It really is. And it's become so easy to hold yourself to impossible standards, right? Especially when it comes, especially when it comes to, I feel like, you know, females growing up in this generation, it's just that's they really suffer from that more than guys do, because a lot of guys are using social media for memes and to connect with their friends and to share things, but you know, on the other side of the coin, that's not exactly true.
It's our young teenage girls who are being blinded by
corporate narratives, right? Corporate expectations, AI generated images, all this garbage that's going on right now.
Exactly. And act a certain way.
And to sell a certain product for, you know, as profit being the main thing. But what they're really doing is damaging, you know, the children of this generation.
You know it, man.
It happens right in front of our eyes. It's not hard for anyone to see. We all have social media. We all know what's going on, right? Like it's you know, the problems that I talk about on this show, people sometimes come to me and like, oh, you're so brave for talking about that. Like, you know so much about it. It's like, have you not lived the day in our society? We know what the problems are. We know what the solutions are. And we know who the people in charge who are, you know, making whatever chaotic world we're living in a reality. But it doesn't seem like there's much hope going around. Most people don't expect a better future, especially in Australia. They expect it to sort of decline slowly, and that's how we're going, which is really sad. It's really sad because you have to have hope. You have to be optimistic about the future.
Yeah, no, I got some hope, player.
Oh, me too.
I got some hope.
I've got hope in people like you and me.
I do,
that's
man.
the thing.
You know, I think I must say you guys have been a real breath of fresh air to me, man. I must say, right? It's just really cool, man. Like, just some guys out there that just get it and fucking, you know, because also your generation gets a bit of a bad rep too, right?
For a good reason, bro. You know? Talk to us and it's like, it's a tough yarn sometimes.
But there are some fucking guys out there too, right? Like, you know, that you guys, which I think it's just, it gives me hope, you know, that like, actually, you know, there are some forward-thinking members of society out there.
Well, you know, young people are the future, right? And I think that's been really weird to see that narrative shift. You know, back when I was growing up, it was kind of like the children of the future, and we need to invest in the children, invest in education, invest in, you know, society to build a better future for our kids. But now, like, you know, it feels like the future's AI. That's what people are saying. The future's all about technological innovation, and no one cares about the children anymore. It's all about, you know, the next best thing, right? Especially when it comes to this digital world that we currently live in, right? You know, the future used to be our children, but now our future's AI, automation, and it's very, very scary.
Hey, seriously, Ethan, where we're going now, it's so crazy. Like, even just you know, I think I've always been very interested in people, right? And just psychology and anthropology and just what makes people tick and just the human brain and just fascinating stuff, right? Our biology and the coding and the genes and the genetics and just, you know, which ultimately makes me feel there is a creator, you know? Just what I wanted to say just very quickly, Ethan, about a point that we made about this comparative society that we're living in.
Yes.
You know, something that's really helped me get over that. And it is very easy to get sucked in to, you know, all right, I'm a certain age. Why don't I have this car and live in this neighborhood? And, you know, like, you know,
this type of life.
And am I a failure? And have I fucked up? And where did I make the wrong choices? And all this kind of stuff, right? You know, it's very easy to, yeah, I know it's all nonsense. It's the work of the devil is what it actually is. But, you know, there was a great quote, man, from a guy called Mufti Menk. I don't know if you know, ever heard of this guy. He's a really cool Islamic scholar. Great. He says a lot of stuff that really resonates with me, man. And he had a great one. And he says, it says in the Quran that what is meant for you will always find you. And what is not meant for you will never find you. And I think that's just, you know, when you take that kind of notion, what that does is it alleviates any level of jealousy, right? Because, like, if you've kicked it and made fucking your first billion, that was meant for you, man. And that's your story and the lessons you need to learn on the way and how you deal with the blessing that you've been given.
Yes.
And the fact that I didn't get it, I can't be pissed off at you because it wasn't never meant for me, you know?
Exactly.
Right? So I think this is a really powerful kind of way of overcoming this whole, you know, oh, but, you know, so-and-so's married with kids and da-da-da-da-da, and the white picket fence and, you know, just the idealistic lifestyle that we're all told that we need to, you know, be to be a success. And I feel even just on that, Ethan, it's a lot harder for women as well because of their biological clocks to be a certain age and married and settled. And all of a sudden, if you're not, if you're some single woman in a
40s who's just chosen a career, you're a fuck up in society, right? Oh, what's wrong with her? Nobody wants to be with her, and where's her head at? And she thinks it's not okay to have children, and like there's a lot of like pressure on us,
Of course.
as normal members of society, man. Take my culture for example. I'm nearly 40, Ethan. I'm not married, and people losing their shit in my culture. You're not married? What? Are you crazy? Come on. Are you gay? Right? There's like, no one ever says that, but they're probably thinking it for sure.
No, I understand.
Right? But like,
there's stigma attached to it, right?
absolutely, man.
Yes.
And actually, I just pretty happy where I am at this moment in time, and just don't really feel I need someone just to come in for the sake of coming in, right? Because I'm not ready for it.
Yes.
So when I am, and organically, let's see what happens, right? And let's not force something that, I don't want.
I completely understand. And I think the remedy to this comparative society that we've created is a spiritual connection to the divine, whatever you manifest that as. We've talked about it. We've talked about this just in one of the little breaks that we had before, about how all religions are a manifestation of the same thing, connecting with love and life itself and each other, right? And understanding that God, whatever your definition of God is, right? Whatever anyone's personal definition of God is, has a plan for your life, and you're going to be used through God to do amazing things on this earth, right? And the challenges and tribulations that He serves you are there to build you up and make you stronger,
Absolutely.
and to tell your story. And
Absolutely.
as you said, nothing that's not meant for you will find you, and everything that is will.
100.
Right? And I'm a big believer in that.
Right.
And this goes to show how many similar comparisons there are with religions across the world, right? So many have this same mantra that destiny is real and we're all here for a reason, and there's a path that is predestined when you were born, right? And you follow that and act it out.
Totally.
And
make make some decent choices as well.
yes.
There will be the option to take the straight path or the bent path, and sometimes the straight path is definitely easier, right? Just A to B instead of having to go this
It's
way.
easier all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, just make the right choices, I feel like, I don't know. I just give up all the good stuff, Ethan, and just feel a lot better. And I think I'm just able just to be a lot more focused and clearer, because I'm just not living for a weekend now, and I'm looking a little bit beyond, because it's a very short-sighted mentality that everyone gets sucked into,
Yes.
of weekly paychecks that are just getting spunked on a weekend, and then in England we say it's steak and chips on a Friday and beans on toast on a Monday, right?
I completely understand.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like it's quite interesting with the added assistive substances. No one, when you talk about like addictions and that kind of stuff, no one ever talks about this really lonely, isolating period of stopping everything, but then having to cut off all of the connections to that kind of lifestyle and start again.
Yes.
And find friends that don't do all that kind of stuff and probably a bit more interested in religion and working and family and all these. So like really breaking out of that friendship group and starting a new one. That transitional period is extremely fucking lonely, man.
Yes.
And I think it's a lot of that period of time is when people just relapse and just go back into that lifestyle, because where do you start with that?
Exactly. You're in purgatory between
Right.
what could be and what is, and you don't want to let go of what you have.
Because it's familiar and you know it, and also they're your friends, right?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that they're all fake, and like I'm sure they are your genuine friends, but they also just have very kind of one-track minded. Let's go out, get fucked, like see who we can bang and do all over again next weekend, and did it for many years, man. And it's okay for a bit, but like I said, transitioning from that side to this side is a fucking tough gig, Ethan, I must say, like, because you're just having a lot of internal battles as well, like, am I doing the right thing? Oh, this is all I've ever known, and oh, this is silly, right? All right, I've done 2 weeks now. Fuck yeah, I can have a drink, or you know, like it's yeah, I think there should be some more support for people in that kind of period, you know, of like similar people like yourself that have gone through or going through that kind of issue, you know, to like stay strong and like let's keep each other in check, and you know, because like I said, it's very hard, man, very easy, sorry, to go back into falling into that, you know, especially with your old crew.
No, agreed. Have you heard of a substance called ibogaine?
No, I haven't actually.
It's a psychedelic drug coming out of South America. It's got a lot of limelight recently. Maybe Carl can pull this up. And it has huge benefits for people dealing with addictions and getting over addictions, as well as people coming home.
Is it a fungus?
I'm not exactly sure. There's a man named Brian Hubbard who's an expert on this who I've listened to and follow.
Oh, Brian Hubbard.
Yeah, and he's absolutely amazing. He's a big proponent of the psychedelic community. But ibogaine is one of the leading psychedelic drugs when it comes to therapeutic
I'd love to check this out, man. I'm gonna go research it when I get home.
Well, hold on, we can get Carl to research it right now. So, but you know, but that's the thing. So many people have a stigma about mind-altering substances and things like that. When we do have a lot of trauma in society, especially when it comes to veterans, right? We can all understand the incredible sacrifice that they all go through and the horrors that they see.
And the truth, right?
And they should be, you know, and we talked a lot about disenfranchised groups today, but they should be number one on the priority list.
They're them guys we've been talking about, man.
They're the ones, you know, who are seriously
ex-servicemen, PTSD, like never needed to cook or clean, or because the military just did everything for you, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you get discharged after fucking being in Afghanistan, and you've potentially lost a leg, and seen you get best mate being fucking blown to smithereens, and then you want to fucking just throw that guy back in society. Here's a medal, pat on the back, yeehaw, I'll fucking see you later.
And this is the thing, so many of these psychedelic therapies have been so successful for so long. However, the adoption is just not at the level it needs to be. And there's so much regulation going into it. Oh, it's actually an African psychedelic.
I know this.
Get this on the full screen so I can give this a little read, Carl. So it comes from, oh man, the Tabermanth Abago plant. Abago plant.
There is something similar that I thought you were talking about. I think it's called Ayaboa, but I'm just gonna check it.
Okay.
I think it might be the same thing, because when you said it, but then when you said you didn't say Africa, so then I thought it might be.
Go into can you type up the benefits of ibogaine, because this is telling us about other ones. Oh, here we go. It might even be here. It even says that summary: ibogaine, Central Africa, use, addiction, treatment, and healing.
Yeah.
Right. And then ayahuasca, that we've also talked about, spiritual and psychological exploration.
Yeah. I've heard of this one, man.
No, but this one, like, you know, because ayahuasca is that more, it's kind of like that more hippie side. Like, it's more about understanding
spiritual connection with ancestors, that kind of stuff.
All that, right? Which I'm a big believer in too. And I believe that there is an outside and an inside, right? And that's an important part of humanity that is, you know, sort of lost.
I'm just smashing these nuts, Spider. Really
Good
sorry,
on you.
man.
They're good. But ibogaine, right? This isn't about that hippie sort of stuff. This is about genuine healing for people that have dealt with trauma, whether it be addictions or people coming out of the military, right? And the fact that the government has not, you know, put more studies together, put more research together to help those in need is terrible.
Have you seen The Men Who Stare at Goats?
No, I haven't.
Oh, even you need to watch this movie. The Men Who Stare at Goats. George Clooney.
Okay.
Fucking incredible movie.
Yes.
It's basically The Men Who Stare at Goats. George Clooney. It's basically about a covert American operation that they ran, I think in the 60s or 70s, a US military, where they wanted to see how they could win wars without killing people. So that's the one. So they drugged their soldiers on LSD, right? And put them on the battlefield. And you're fucking coming up on acid. The first thing you're going to do is put down your gun and give your comrade a fucking flower. Right?
It's a bad idea.
Fucking no, but like, what a genius concept though, right? That like, you know, how are you gonna, you know, what immediately happens, Ethan, is your ego is dissolved, right? You know, when you take these hallucinogenic, psychedelic compounds, it doesn't become a case of mine; it becomes a case of ours. You know, and like this is how communities were built, and you know. because this isn't my house and my tools and my area. It's our house and our family. And does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
So it's like the fucking genius idea, man. That like, let's just stop killing each other and let's just fucking take a mushroom. Because then I'm just gonna want to hug you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna want to kill you. The last thing I'm gonna fucking thinking of is killing you. And the reason why I didn't take off is because there's just no money in weaponry and so a lack of weapons and killing and fucking medical treatments and all this kind of shit. You know, like that's why I didn't take off. You know, I'm gonna say some pretty fucking out there shit right now, boys. But the reason why all of this shit is illegal is because they just don't want us to reclaim the authenticity of our own brains, man. You know, that's why this shit is illegal. They're not interested in people jumping out fucking windows and drowning in the sea. They don't want us to see what I saw on the last trip. That you're all a bunch of fucking lying son of a bitches. And you just fucking had me for the last 38 years, man. You fucking did. You don't need to put this in, right?
No,
I'm just
but this is
saying how I feel. But
this isn't. I understand what you're saying. You're saying some, as you said, wild shit. But this is not uncommon sentiment between people who have done psychedelic drugs. A lot of people feel this
You
way.
can't not, right?
No.
You can't not.
Well, I understand
You
what
know-
you mean. A lot of people have experienced this and understand that this has helped them in their own lives to just to see it outlawed and people in average society not get exposure to something that's helped them so much.
Yeah, man.
Right? It feels like a travesty.
So much.
Right? But what you're talking about genuinely happened as well. The CIA were running covert operations, dosing people, not just in the military, with hallucinogenic substances like LSD to see if they could do mind control, to see if they could remote viewing, which is another topic that we can talk
Totally.
about as well.
Totally.
But and then they also dosed up soldiers, and there's actually footage of this. If Carl could find it, they didn't tell the soldiers what they were giving them, but they gave them something, right? And later we've now found out that that's LSD, and there's photos of them like in training simulations, like throwing their guns away and running around and like rolling in the mud. It's so funny. But anyway, so
For sure, man.
yeah, and Carl's just just typed in all the reasons that we were talking about before why our society would not be super like pro psychedelic drugs. And there are, and this is the thing, as all arguments that have ever been, there's two sides, right? And there are genuine concerns for people's mental health and for, you know, the implications when it comes to driving and things like that. But you know, as a whole, you have to look at the argument and the evidence that's come out, especially recently in the last 5 years, from a lot of top universities in the US, where these studies have shown immense help for people who are disenfranchised, mentally ill, coming back from traumatic
100%.
events like war, right? And to have a population starved of something that's been so pivotal in our development as a species,
Yeah, man.
right? Because we're not talking about
Absolutely.
modern life here. We're going all the way back into ancient times. Wherever you look in ancient civilizations, they were using some form of psychedelics, right? And even today, people don't know this, right? But the whole Christmas tradition, right? This is a bit of a conspiracy in itself, but it yields a lot of
Another one.
you know the Amanita muscaria
Yeah,
mushroom,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the fact that Christmas is just an echo of
Yeah.
ancient Siberian shaman culture, right?
That has like this narrative has been done and done and done.
Yes.
Right. You know, through the civilizations. You know, we're just the new ones to like get it.
To hold the reins.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And the people in power have banned us from being able to understand the outside, right? And it's such a complex problem, and there's so much money involved, and there's
For sure.
industries that are essentially built off making sure that these things are still illegal. Big Pharma makes a lot of money off antidepressants that wouldn't exist if we had
Bro,
therapeutic use
everything,
of
mate. Everything.
psychedelic drugs.
You know,
right?
there's this COVID conspiracy too, right? That like it was all like just put in there and
Ain't no
you know,
conspiracy. We know. We know
Yeah.
what they were doing.
I'm just-
we know. We know that it came out of Wuhan.
I'm just
And-
putting it out there, but yeah.
Well, that's it. But this is the thing, like, you know, these things get called conspiracies until we find out they're completely true. We find out that this lab was a product of gain-of-function research happening in the Wuhan Institute of Virology that was funded by the EcoHealth program, which #1 donator is the US. Come on. Like, you know, you can't make this
You're
shit
taking
up.
the piss out of
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You can't
right?
make this shit up.
You're insulting our intelligence.
And this is the thing. Now that all the emails are leaked, now that everything's out, Fauci and Everyone knew about this for years. We're telling people that it was an armadillo and a bat and a wet market or some bullshit, right? Which everyone knew was lies. And there's, this isn't. I'm not breaking news here. This is out. The emails are out. We already know this. Fauci's in hiding, and he should really be put up to trial and facing genuine criminal charges for not just lying to people about the outbreak of COVID, but going on with so much information that he knew wasn't true. And that really opened people's eyes to the fuckery going on in society these days. That's the thing. That was the world government's mistake. They did COVID and they woke up some people, and they're not ready to hear what we have to say. And and we'll see what happens. Because we feel like, I know this sounds so pessimistic, but with everything going on in the world today, it feels like we're closer to collapse than any other time. And maybe that's just me being immature and not being experienced enough to understand the world.
Maybe also this is just Mother Nature's way, man, of just giving us what we deserve, man.
I honestly, if a big meteor came down from Earth and wiped out all civilization, I'd be like, that makes sense. We were fucking it up. We completely ruined this one chance that we had. And the systems that we have in place are so broken and so terrible. And it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. Like, to fathom genuine structural change on an international level where we're able to work hand in hand and in a global economy that, benefits everyone, it seems so far-fetched. A utopian society for everyone seems impossible.
The answer is hallucinogenic, man. The answer is a mushroom, Really, if you want any real quick fix solution, Ethan, to saving humanity, and let's be real, we're fucked. Deforestation, global warming, animal extinction, the human starvation, the greed, the overpopulation, we're fucked, man. Let's be real. I think it'd be optimistic to think we've even got 100 years left on this planet if we carry on the way we're going. With the depletion of everything. I think the only way we're going to wake up is by putting fucking psilocybin in the water supply. Seriously. Because someone like my mum is never going to take it. Right? So we just need to fucking just give it to them. Because I think then we'll realize, even if we could feel what we were doing to the planet, if I could feel how you felt, maybe I wouldn't have made you feel like that. But I can only hear how you feel. That's not even scraping the surface, bro. And if we could feel what we were doing to the planet, we wouldn't do it, man. But we can only see it and hear it. And it's nowhere near like the level of empathy you need to fucking make a real change, because we can't feel it, And this is, I think, the great thing about the psychedelic movement, man, is that it just makes you realize that none of this shit is important, man. It's really not.
But it brings me back to the point, which is we're cooked.
Yeah,
The psychedelic movement's been gaining steam for so many years, and man, it seems like we're just not
getting anywhere.
Enough. True. It just seems like society's degrading faster than we're able to heal it, right? And that's a big problem.
You know it, man.
And that's why this show is innately pessimistic, because we talk about global events, the human experience, our stories and things like that. But it's also, in my opinion, an optimistic show. You got to shed light on these things, right? Because sunlight's the only thing that's going to kill all the terrible things that are going on in this world right now. And we even have this to talk about too. We were going to do this episode on a Sunday, but they've got the big pro-Palestinian protest tomorrow, right? This is a really complex issue, and this could actually be a pivotal issue for Australia, maybe.
Yeah.
Because for people that don't know, I'm sure most people would know this, right? The pro-Palestinian movement, all these protesters, they want to walk across the Harbour Bridge. The New South Wales police have said that they're going to barricade the Harbour Bridge, and like there'll be a line of police there. And very, very, very rarely in Australian culture have we seen population go up against police. We see this all the time in the news with tear gas and things like that, but very rarely has this become a realization for people living in Australia. Yeah. And tomorrow we could see some bad scenes, some sort of like things that look like they're coming out of a society with martial law. And that is very, very scary to see. And this is the thing.
Ethan, people are fucking outraged, man.
As they should be. I was just about to say, I'm as pro-Palestinian as you can get. Not necessarily for any specific reason, except for a bunch of specific reasons, but just because they've gotten the short end of the stick for 80 years, and this is the thing with these pro-Palestinian protests. These pro-Palestinian protests have been going on for 2 years, because that's how long the war's gone.
I've been going to them, man.
Yeah, and
I know.
And this is why it sucks so much, because you see Keir Starmer, right, and Macron come out now and say like, "Oh, I'm pro-Palestinian. We're gonna recognize Palestine as a
Next month.
legitimate state." Yeah,
Next month.
as a legitimate state. If Israel don't stop the starvation campaign they're enforcing on the people of Gaza, but Keir Starmer and Macron don't care. This war's been going on for 2 years and they haven't done anything about it.
They're feeding them with the other hand, man. Like we're fucking helping. We're spying on fucking Palestinian territory, man. The UK government. There's been so many spy planes that have gone out for Israel we're fucking complicit in a genocide, bro.
This is the thing, right? This genocide, or whatever label people want to put on it, right? And I do believe it's a genocide, but people really hate that word, right? And it's got a lot of emotional weight to it, But whether you like it or not,
should we call it ethnic cleansing then?
Yeah, well, it's terrible.
If you got an issue with genocide, we'll call it ethnic cleansing.
I don't have an issue with it. It's just
I'm just saying,
some people.
How can
It
you?
is a genocide.
Let's call it a spade, a fucking spade, right?
Agreed.
Sorry to be swearing so much.
No. Well, this is
Getting into it, man.
To address these profane issues, profanity is sometimes needed, because what is going on right now in Gaza and what has been going on for the last 2 years is fucked, right? And anyone can see that, right? Anyone understands. Well, not anyone understands. People don't know because the news don't give it legitimate coverage. It doesn't get covered in Western media.
Also, the numbers are all massively under as well.
This is the thing.
The
People
reporting
say that,
of numbers.
Well, and this is what the Israelis' point is, that the numbers are actually over, and that Hamas exaggerate the numbers to, and they put out these videos that are staged to make it look like it's worse than it actually is. But anyone that sees the footage for 5 minutes realizes that there's a humanitarian crisis going on.
Also, no reporters are allowed in.
Exactly. And there are journalists on the ground and they get killed, right? And so
right,
exactly.
Right.
Mossad is literally killing journalists in Gaza to make sure they're not reporting on the war.
It's crazy.
It's really
man.
bad.
And then, also, Ethan, it doesn't get any lower than starving a peoples and then fucking assassinating them while they fucking go and get flour to fucking feed their families,
You see the videos come out and it's absolutely terrible. These people, they're dropping the packages from the planes, people run up to it, and then the IDF open fire. You're like, what is going on?
There's been reports of verified reports of children being sniped in the private part regions, man.
I know that this is true, and I know what you're saying is true, but most people will hear this and say this is insane.
No, man.
Conspiracy. But I know you're right. It's coming. It's out. Information's
and
there.
Also, just another one is, because I follow a lot of these doctors from either the UK or there's one pretty famous one from Perth, the Middle East, the Beast from the Middle East, he's called.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Palestinian but grown up in the UK and Australia. It seems. So I think he's at least in Perth now.
Okay.
And he's been going to Gaza. And he says that, and he's a trauma surgeon.
Okay.
I think he's a trauma surgeon. And he says that when kids are coming in, he said, like, they've got bullets straight through the skull, right? And he's like, and he says, like, we've seen cases where kids have come in and they've had bread in their hands, just because they were going to just get some food and they got killed. And then I just started thinking, like, and I started researching a little bit, and these snipers are trained fucking like to shoot. They're marksmen, they're trained to shoot from fucking, like, I don't think it's an accident that that kid had got a bullet between the legs or a bullet between his eyes, because I just don't think that's any coincidence or accident, so you clearly fucking, there is proof on the table that you're targeting civilians. And also, I don't know if you saw this recent, I was just watching it last night, Ethan, the recent stats. Actually, there's been, since the food program agency that Israel have started doing, can't remember exactly what it's called, this food relief that they're giving.
Yes.
Because, in the last 2 years, they looked at the numbers of how many related deaths there were to food aid. And they were literally in like the 4s and 5% up until Israel started, and then the figures have like fucking quadrupled
since October 7.
No. Since they started giving, because
since they started
handling their own food aid now, and so no agency can go in, and Israel
because they've got the blockades,
right? Exactly.
And they're giving, and this is the thing: Israel are providing far less food than what is necessary. They're providing. I thought I saw 1/60th of the food necessary is what Israel is dropping into Gaza.
Brother, if they don't get flooded, and I mean flooded now, because we're talking mums that are too malnutritioned to even breastfeed their fucking kids, man.
I know.
And you know, bro, there was one image that I saw that will really fucking stay with me, and I only saw this like a few days ago. This kid with cerebral palsy, and he's literally skin and bones, and the poor bastard already has a fucking serious brain and body condition, you know, and he can't even fucking eat, man. And where the fuck is your humanity? And do you know what, Ethan, if you ask me, we fucking failed Gaza, man. The public, we failed them, man. We're the ones that think it's more important to go to a fucking Black Friday event and buy some bullshit fucking TV upgrade that we don't need to fill some fucking emptiness in our hearts to impress these fucking dickheads that you live next door to who you don't even fucking like, right? You know, we're more interested in that shit than we are helping our fucking brothers and sisters on the other end of the world. We fucking failed them, man. Fuck the governments.
I don't know if I can fully get on board with that. The government, the US government and the Israeli government have ran a sort of controlled genocide campaign on the Palestinian people for the last 2 years.
Sure.
Which is the result of essentially since the Nakba in, following the end of World War II. Since the end of World War II and the creation of Israel and Palestine and all this conflict going on and all the drama that happened in the West Bank with Lebanon. And the wars with Jordan, all of that stuff, right, has manifested into what's taking place today, which is essentially the extermination of people living in Gaza, all Palestinian. For so many reasons. This is the thing. And it's the reasons that people because people think that, the Israelis are really racist against the Palestinians. And I'm sure there's an element to that too. And I think Bibi Netanyahu definitely, even in the political system of Israel, they refer to killing Palestinians as cutting off the head of the snake. There's all these biblical imagery, and they genuinely don't view these people as equal. But that's only one side of the coin. Just off Gaza, just off the coastline of Gaza, is the largest liquefied natural gas reserve in the world, bigger than what we have in Australia today, and we currently have the largest. And that's what they're really after, I believe. They're after this giant amount of money that's tied up in this natural gas reserve off Gaza. And what's even crazier is they've been building this pipeline for years, right? It's been their plan to occupy and have a port there and to, retract all this money out of that reserve, right? And that's another motivating factor too.
Just getting America to do your fucking dirty work, man. You would not be such a fucking bully if you didn't have the backing of a superpower like America.
I completely agree. They couldn't carry out any of the stuff.
Man.
They would be
Iran would have dealt with you.
And this is the thing people say too, Israel aren't using American weapons when it comes to bombing Gaza. And that's sort of true. They're using IDF military. However, what they're not using IDF military for, and what they definitely don't have the capability for, is the Iron Dome that protects them. Israel would have already gotten blown up if it wasn't for American engineering by companies like Raytheon and things like that, who have put these Iron Dome missile defense systems in, which protects the people living in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, etc.
Absolutely.
Right? And so essentially, as you said, the West is complicit in this genocide. Absolutely. But I don't necessarily know if you and I are. It's the
I'm not saying we're complicit. I'm saying we've
failed them.
Even this March tomorrow, this should have been fucking done 2 years ago, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's what I mean by we failed them. That we've not done enough, man. I was thinking about it. I think about this a lot, Ethan, bro. And I think, Gaza's a test for everyone, man. It isn't just a test for the Palestinians or the Zionist movement, or it's a test for us, man, as to what you do when your brother is suffering like that, man. Because that could have been us. The only reason you or I or fucking Kyle is not in fucking Gaza right now is because we won a postcode fucking lottery of being born geographically to the countries we have. And by the grace of God, we will never know what it's like to be there. We just lucked out. That is all it is. And it's quite interesting because I meet a lot of people on the street, hey, and, talking about amnesty and stuff. And you'd be so surprised, Ethan, how many Australians will come out with, yeah, but they started it, right?
About
right.
Right.
You'd be so surprised that's how many people react to, or
that's what the news says.
I don't give a shit, or it's not my problem, or, and as one thing I found a bit challenging about being in Australia on an international kind of charity is Aussies, I don't think they mind giving. They're a bit reluctant to send the aid abroad, and I think they're a bit more inclined to keep the money in Australia with this whole narrative of, look, we've got our own problems and this kind of stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I do agree with to a certain extent, but thankfully no one's being starved to death here and being shot while they wait for food. You know, thankfully, we've definitely got our own problems. I'm not taking anything away from that,
Mhm.
but there's some pretty serious shit going on out there, you know. And I feel like in the UK, even we're a bit more receptive to the refugee crisis and all this kind of stuff because I just feel like we're a bit closer to it.
You're living it.
People
Yep.
are just so much farther detached, and it's just a bit hard for people to get out of this perfect bubble that they live in places like Australia, where your life is great, man. You know, alhamdulillah, everything's like, you know, just everything's good, you know. It's hard for you to empathize with what's going on with these guys on the other end of the street. And sadly, after this 2.5 years now, we've just become desensitized. People don't want to fucking start scrolling through Instagram, see some starving baby or some mum crying into the fucking dead corpse of a baby, and people don't want to feel fucking sad, so they just switch it up to some makeup channel or, you know, and, you know, this is just a fucking cycle we're in, you know.
And it's been so disappointing, the response from the US administration as well over the last 9 months too, since Trump got elected.
Mate.
Because there was so much talk in the campaign about ending the genocide. A new party was going to come in, and there was going to be reform. There was Netanyahu was going to be tried for his crimes. All these things happened, and Trump has potentially been the most pro-Israel president we've seen.
Absolutely.
Especially in such a short period of time.
And like publicly.
Yes,
You know,
which-
publicly.
Which really paints a narrative of another force at play, like this Epstein stuff,
Totally.
like this blackmail stuff that Mossad and MI6 and the CIA
Absolutely, man.
always have had going on, right? And this is publicly, you know, available information, like Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, all these people
Absolutely,
have
man.
leaked emails about
Blew the lid.
yeah, blew
on
the lid
corrupt
right open,
government.
right? So now we know what's
Right.
going on. This is the thing. You can see it's not hard to realize what's going on. Right? You just got to know. Yeah.
Oh,
And so
fucking
you see this
smashing some tables now. I am fucking hungry.
but this is what I mean. It's kind of like it doesn't matter if you cross the bridge tomorrow. It's not going to end. Even someone who is, you know, determined to try and get this war to end, to let this to close this chapter on this humanitarian crisis and move forward. They've been talking about developing a Palestinian state since Bill Clinton, and presidents after presidents after presidents have said that they want to, and none have been able to get it done. And the situation has only gotten worse. The Palestinian people have only had more restrictions being placed on them, lost more land over the course of time, and have been, like, you know, as some of the most impoverished, disenfranchised populations on earth.
Absolutely, man. Mate, just, you know, also I just feel like, we could be here. Ethan, you know, I kind of need to go. With
All right, let's get out of here.
But we could be all
Let's
here all
do
day.
something fun. Let's do
But-
something fun, because
but,
we've been on this.
Yeah, sure. What did you have in mind?
I don't know.
I'm actually really excited to see Leon tomorrow because it's his birthday. So I'm gonna buy some cake.
Get him a cake. have
Buy
a
some
good
cake.
time.
I've got the staff to blow some balloons up and put some decorations. We're gonna wheel him out. Also, another thing is he likes to smoke cigarettes, so I'm just gonna wheel him out onto the terrace, sit down with him with a cup of tea, and just burn a shitload of cigarettes because I like to smoke too. You know.
Good on ya.
So-
It's so good what you're doing for people who don't have anyone else like that, and it speaks to your character, your personality, as we've talked about, from the charity work that you do to volunteering at nursing
We're
homes,
trying, man.
to even just having an open heart to meet people on the street
Trying,
and
man.
have interactions like this.
Just trying to be good guys, you know.
It's what it's all
Right.
about.
You know, I'm gonna send you some pictures, guys, of how I got on with Leon tomorrow.
Good.
I'll
good.
send you some
Dude,
pictures.
we'll put them on the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
show.
it could be nice, man. It could be nice. Just hopefully that might just encourage someone to want to sign up to be a Red Cross volunteer too. And you know, if you're missing a granddad that you left in your life, and there's definitely a granddad out there that needs a bit of love, man, or so on. You know, so
Amen.
let's just hope it just inspires people to. Also, I'm giving blood as well, Ethan. That's another thing I do. And I just made my third deposit. And what's really cool about giving blood is it takes fucking 20 minutes. Everyone's got it. And I've got quite a common blood type, which is O+.
Okay.
So 40% of people need this blood if anything was to ever happen. And they send you a text message every time they use your blood to say, like, so I just got a message the other day saying that your blood is on the way to such and such hospital. And no doubt it was going to save some lives. So that's also a really cool feeling too. So if anyone wants to give blood, definitely go and sign up to your local blood bank. Most of our blood in Australia is brought from overseas. Most of it.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. And people need blood here.
I didn't know that.
Most of our blood comes from overseas.
Wow.
Yeah. There's just not enough people giving blood, man. You know, every time I go there, the chairs are all empty, man. And actually, my mum, Ethan, this is where I kind of had the idea. When I was a kid, my mum got hit by a motorcycle, had a really crazy accident, life-changing accident. Nearly had a leg amputated and all sorts. It was really crazy. But she needed 2 pints of blood in that hospital. And luckily they were there. And I think my heart just would have broke if the doctor's like, you need 2 pints of blood, but we don't have it. And, you know, there are places in the world where people are fucking having them conversations with patients, you know? So I feel like it's free. It can definitely save someone's life. Why the fuck not just go and give some fucking blood, ladies and gentlemen? Right? Are you just going to get a little prick with a needle? And that's all it is. Yeah.
You're inspirational. Bobby.
Yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Mate, it's been great to be here too.
Dude, thank you. And we'll do it again. Maybe a little cooking segment before. We'll run it up.
100%.
It'll be awesome.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys. Catch up.
Guys, thanks for having me as well, man. Kyle, shout out to you as well, man, just for being a boss.
Shout out to Kyle, the real
man.
hero. Without
Yeah,
him, none of this is possible.
Totally,
So,
man. Totally.
I appreciate it.
My
every
guy.
single episode. Bobby, it's been
No, it's been great, man. Right, let's hug it out, boys.
real. Thanks, everyone.